Yes,
Yes,
guys, you know what
guys.
time it is. It's your boy David at the Irish Hotspur, Ireland's #1 Spurs fan. And today we bring you the Tottenham fan phone-in show. So those of you with them lovely badges beside your name, get to the community section, hit that link, come in and have your say. Plenty to talk about, absolutely plenty. New rounds of Conte contract talks set to happen supposedly this week. I see people actually trying to get in the back end. It's actually full, so don't worry. We'll get the guests on, get through them, and we'll get you guys in. Do not worry about that. Plenty of time this evening. But there is supposed to be contract talks this week, and it's supposed to center around, I believe, the discussion point is about the ambition of where the Tottenham want to go compared to where Conte wants to go, and does that vision align? So it'll be very interesting to see what happens from there. But there's also there's also some reports put out saying that he's reinvigorated after his time away and stuff like that. But there's also been reports in Italian media that Morata, who worked at Juve before shit went bust, he supposedly is looking at a return there with Del Piero, and he wants to bring Antonio Conte with him. Now, we also know that Antonio Conte was in Turin during this break. Now, some would say it's for a holiday, but you just never know if any discussions took place. So once again, the Conte is at the center of attention with a contract talk. We also have the Harry Kane miss, if anyone would like to come on and talk to me about that. Also, you know, who should start against Brentford in place of Bentancur, who is suspended, won't be playing. Do you give Ollie Skip a chance? Pursue him. Maybe bring in Harvey White, who looked good against Motherwell. And some of the players we've been linked with transfer-wise. Jack, have I missed anything?
I think there's plenty. Maybe Motherwell, of course. I would love to talk about, maybe nerd out about some of Harvey White's, beautiful passes, hold-up play, talk about Hill Messi, Kulusevski. That was really fun. But I think there's plenty else that's really important as well. Like you said, actually, the Conte contract talks, maybe even the Paratici saga again, now after Paratici had his little, you could say, accusations with Juventus. All of a sudden now we're hearing some good news with Antonio Conte. Apparently also, Dave, he's been kind of rejuvenated or re-energized, according to Ali Gold as well, kind of after his time away from the club. I said that would happen, Dave. Sometimes what a guy needs is just some time away from, a bad situation. Then he can kind of come back into it with fresh eyes, fresh perspective, a bit of fresh energy. And that fresh energy might be coming in the case of a new contract talk. So there's also that to be discussed. Maybe that means that perhaps Daniel Levy and Paratici are convincing Conte of something, convincing him of some sort of future, some sort of plan that might be actually in charge. You never know. But yeah, Dave, I think there's lots to be talking about. But maybe we won't be able to talk for an hour and a half about Harvey White's performance, but we'll find time, I'm sure.
Unfortunately not. But look, it comes down to what we were talking about before when there was rumors of or when we ended off and we were saying, look, contract talks need to happen. It's like where Daniel Levy is at, he wants Conte to commit to put an end to the Juve return links and commit his future to Tottenham. But Conte won't put pen to paper unless there's assurances over the January transfer window and potentially beyond to match his ambition. So I think, this week, maybe next week, or especially in the build-up to the January transfer window, be very, very interesting to see what the fallout of this could be. It could either be that he commits his future to Tottenham, and that means then obviously you would like to assume that assurances has been made that you can expect a decent January transfer window and a decent summer transfer window. Or it could very, very quickly unravel, because if he's not going to commit his future and he won't be here next year, when do Tottenham pull the trigger? So it'll be very, very interesting to see what happens. I think we're at a very pivotal time in the football club right now, Jack, to be honest.
I think we are at a very pivotal time, and we're even seeing kind of in the comments right now, like, is actually Conte going to really commit to these sort of talks? Is he going to be disappointed? Is he going to be let down by some of the promises that might be made by Daniel Levy or Paratici sometimes? What maybe they might initially promise to Conte might be, let's say, really short of the mark, let's say, what he might want or what he might expect them to be able to do, because I think he has shown them a lot of patience. I think he has been realistic, actually, with Spurs. He hasn't, I think, expected us to be winning the Champions League within a year or two or anything, but he also doesn't want us to, let's say, rest on our laurels, Dave, or he doesn't want us to go about it too slowly or too pragmatically. He wants us to show some initiative and be able to push to the level that eventually I think he would be satisfied with. So it is kind of that fine balance of whether Daniel Levy and Paratici are moving at the right sort of pace and the right sort of progression. for Conte's liking, because I think he's shown them a lot of patience. I think he's shown them some time that he knows it's not going to be easy with Spurs. It's going to take maybe more time than it might with other clubs. But if they do end up maybe, let's say, promising him things that seem like, yeah, they're probably still moving a bit too slowly, then I don't know, like it could end up being quite poor, actually. It could end up being that the situation or the negotiations go quite poorly because he gets kind of underwhelmed by maybe where Paratici and Levy stand.
Yeah, 100%. I definitely agree with that. And do you know what the thing is, Jack? I think where we're at right now with the Paratici and Conte project, I actually don't think we're too far away. I think, a couple more signings can really push us onto challenging for things truly. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens. But yeah, everybody, let us know. Got those in the comments. Those who'll be coming on. Let us know where you sit on it. Is it up to Daniel Levy just to say, look, we're going to give you the insurances. We're going to back you, even if it's outside of maybe Tottenham's capabilities? Or do you stick with Conte, where it's kind of like, look, you've got to give him what he wants? Or do you agree with Daniel Levy, where it's kind of like, no, look, we can only offer you what Tottenham are capable of without putting the club into any financial sort of difficulties or stuff like that? So very, very interesting. Also, controversial opinion on my behalf. I actually don't believe we need to sign a right wing back this January. I actually think we can get away with it until the end of the summer. Reason being is because when I look at it, I think everyone's argument is they're not good enough going forward, which I would agree with. But it doesn't cost us goals. But when Kulu plays there, Kulu makes them look a lot better. And he adds things to his game where he holds out there looking to take the ball off them and cross it in with his left foot. So he makes them look better. So, and I don't think
what would you do instead? Would you bring in, would you bring in another center back, Dave? Like instead of, you would bring in two center backs maybe instead of bringing in, one center back and a right wing back. You would sacrifice maybe that right wing back and just bring in two center backs. That's how maybe.
That's exactly what I'd be doing. I'd be looking to bring in at least a centre back, or if not, another player in the forward areas if I can't get two. But they're the two positions I'd be looking at more so than right wing back right now. I think that's a position you could probably limp over the line to the end of the season. But then some would say to me, David, shut up. If you show ambition, you get all three. So let me know what you think on that. Do you think we could limp over the line at right back? But look, I'm going to welcome some people in. We're going to start getting the guests on because we even have people in the back end who want to come on as well. So we've got Dermatron with the new channel membership. Big yourself up. By the way, everyone, feel free to grab them channel memberships. New perk. Basically, you can also help us out with the what we're going to be talking about on the podcast every single week. It's a perk available to channel members, so feel free to grab a membership for that. And as well, new shows coming your way. Won't exactly reveal what they are, but you can also help with suggestions and stuff like that for that, plus all the other benefits that you get with it, all the other fan shows and everything else. But big up Dermatron. Brian Maguire, big yourself up, my man. Great to see you. Mick Carmelot, great to see you, buddy. Benjamin Kaufman, can you smell what the calf is brewing? Good evening, my man. Washgal, Mrs. IPA, great to see you. I hope you are keeping well. We've got Lisa. This is good evening, Dave and Jack, and everyone in the chat. Big yourself up, Lisa. Who else have we got in here? I feel bad when I skip people. The bottom, do it. Big yourself up. Big up to the Irish Hotspur and the Flat Cap. You're all genius. Oh, upgraded. Love that. And of course, the amazing people in the chat. Good to see you, the bottom, do. I hope you are keeping well, my man. We've got Mr. King Hoddle in the building, evening from a frozen North London. Let's give Spurs icon and England's best footballer, Harry Kane, our full support and best wishes. Get behind Don Conte when hostilities resume. Come on.
Was that King Hoddle running outside Tottenham Hotspur Stadium the other night, Dave? Was that him actually on that snow run? Let me know, King Hoddle, because sort of would explain a lot. Definitely would explain a lot if that was you actually in that video running down Tottenham High Road.
Oh, that's hilarious. Honestly, that video is brilliant. Everyone check out the podcast we uploaded, especially the start of it where we had some good a good laugh on that. Do check it out. Big yourself up. Definitely echo that, King Hoddle. Matt Doherty fan, do me a favor. Just if you're a huge fan and you speak to him like I speak to Harry Kane, and you just tell him to perform better in a green jersey, I'd appreciate that. But good to see you in, my man. Hope you keep it well. Although done well at left wing back against Motherwell, 2 goals, and I reckon you'll probably see him there against Brentford. So let's see what happens. But big yourself up, Matt Doherty fan. Who else have we got in here?
Philly ain't from Philly.
Philly. Matt Doherty fan, come on, you Spurs. Big up Philly 8 from Philly. Good to see you. Who else have we
We also
got
have a 12-month elite member super chat from Dermot here, Dave, saying, top lads, I can call brothers, top channel. Thank you all for all that you do for us with the content. We all owe you a massive thank you for everything. So here's the 10,000 subs. And come on, you Harris Army. Come on, you Flack Up Army. Come on, you Spurs. Dermot, I think we're going to both probably be reaching maybe our little milestones. I think Dermot wants to reach the big 1K, Dave, and I think he's on the right track with what everything him and Ellie and Philip and the whole gang have been doing. And we would love to reach 10K at some stage too. And so I think at the moment in time, we're just going to keep chugging along, Dermot, and and just keep enjoying the ride. And we're actually going to be also making Dermot a bit of a kind of a compilation of kind of just a lot of the really fun moments from this year, a lot of the really happy moments, maybe even kind of angry moments. I don't know. I just think it will be a great sort of compilation of this whole year and how much we've all kind of, I think, grown together as well. So big up, Dermatron. I really appreciate your support. And also maybe even the reason I came up with that is Dermot, I know you've been around a lot longer than a year, but Dave, it says your super chat as well. So that's made me think of that.
It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Big up yourself, Dermatron. Look, keep going with your channel, my man. I'm enjoying what you're doing and just keep going. He works incredibly hard and hopefully you do hit that 1,000 milestone. I'll be absolutely buzzing for you, brother. Big yourself up. A year member of the channel. That's absolutely amazing. That's outstanding the way the amount of time some people, stick by on the memberships. It's absolutely crazy and really appreciate it, guys. Big yourselves up.
The Ben Kaufman on 16 months, Dave, fan show member says, if you, Dave, I mean, I think you know what he's about to be saying. And for 16 months, you probably should give him maybe at least a decent one here. It's the catchphrase. You know what it is, Dave.
Can you smell extra L's for Ben? What the Kaufman is brewing. There you go, Benji. Extra special one for you, my man.
Good man. Good man. Neil Thomas, member for 9 months. Flat Cap member. Big up, lads. Hope you're good. Big up, Neil Thomas. You absolute legend. 9 months as well, Neil. And really do appreciate it. And I feel like, you probably throw your comments every now and again, but kind of, hiding behind the scenes there, Neil. So we do really appreciate you and all your support, my friend. Tyler, member for 6 months. Get Gavardiol immediately. Also, I still am hurt for Kane. It really was tough to see it. And hopefully you've enjoyed a bit of the content that Davis has put out for you, especially defending the almighty Harry Kane there, Tyler. And Gavardiol has looked absolutely world-class this tournament for me, my man. He looked like probably the best center back, I think, this tournament alone, at least. He really has been sensational.
Yeah, look, I would love to get him over the line, Tyler. I'm just not so sure it's going to happen. I think it's probably gone to the point where he's that good and the potential is that insane. It's probably out of our price range, if I'm being brutally honest, my man. But look, hey-ho, who knows? Don Paratici is the negotiator. Who knows what we could negotiate? But we'll wait and see, my man. But big up, Tyler. Really appreciate all your guys' support. Big yourself up. And that's another thing, guys. If you have them membership chats, do get them in. Big up, Shamu. Good to see you, my man. Big up, Claude Murphy. Great to see you, brother. Big up, Zoe. Good contribution to the podcast earlier on. I hope you're keeping well, my dear. We've got a dope boy says there's no ambition at Spurs. I'll be shocked if Conte signs a new deal. Well, look, we'll have to wait and see, my man. Let's wait and see. Pivotal times. Foggy Foam says, good evening, everyone. Big up, Foggy Foam. Tyler says, it's been so nice, Ben, not having to watch Eric Dyer. Honestly, it's been absolutely fantastic, my man. You've no idea. Big up, Paddy Higgins, evening on. The guy behind some of the quirky photos that you see me put up. Love that latest one of Paratici on the front cover of Wolf of Wall Street. Absolutely quality. Big up, Paddy. Good to see you, my man. Peter Simon's great to see you, buddy. Says, just signed the whole Moroccan defense. Job done. I mean, they're being absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. James Grindon says Conte will sign a new contract for sure, and Paratici would get the players he wants. Levy can't afford to lose another manager. I definitely agree with that. I think, look, if Conte goes, I think he's going to get an awful lot of focus put on him, an awful lot. So for me, I think he's got to play his cards smartly. If I was him, I would back Conte, if I'm being brutally honest, because a lot of fans wanted Conte in here in the first place, and they won't be happy to see him go. And Martin Walton, good to see you, my man. I hope you're keeping. He says, absolutely need a new right wing back. We got Moondog says, good evening, David and Jack. Big up, Moondog.
Legend.
Brother. Hope you're keeping well. hopefully you haven't been betting on Eric Dyer this World Cup. I was just about to say, or maybe you've saved money, but then I realized Eric Dyer went to the World Cup, so hopefully you haven't put on any Eric Dyer bets. But big up, Moondog, brother.
I'm also, by the way, I'm not gonna just mess with some of the wires and stuff like that, but I'm actually keeping that Pierre Hoiberg plaque actually closer to me now, Moondog. You know, I was keeping it away from me, but right now it's actually right next to my bedside each and every night, and the missus has grown quite jealous, you could say. So there you are, Moondog, big man.
Big up, Moondog, absolute legend. Graham, good to see you, sir. I hope you're keeping well, my man. We'll be over there for the AC Milan, actually. The home game, my man. Be nice to see you. We've got Gary Bloggs. What's your opinion on the rumors of a new contract for Eric Dyer? I'm not even going to go on a tangent right now. I'm sick of the talk.
Same time.
Moonhead. Look, for me, should never happen. Should never be in the equation. And even if some think he does deserve it, well, let's not be afraid to hold it off to the end of the season then. You know, why would you give him a contract when he's been absolutely atrocious? Makes no sense in my opinion. A contract's supposed to be a reward. Dave, good to see you, my man. He says, big up, lads. Great to see you, brother. We've got Paddy Harnett. By the way, Paddy Harnett, loved your caption over the video earlier. Had me in absolute stitches. It was absolutely brilliant. He says, Conte will sign a new contract. He respects Levy and club due to recent events with Gianpiero. They trust him and he trusts them. He will be back, but it will take time. Jack, anything you want to say to Paddy on that?
I feel like there's something to be said about, I brought this up once before, Paddy, but I think Conte has not maybe been given enough, I don't know, maybe recognition. It's not like respect is really the right word, but maybe he hasn't really been given enough recognition for really pushing through that October period, considering that he did just lose such a vital person in his life, someone that helped him through his own playing career, someone that's helped him through his own managing career, just someone just been very, very close to him. And losing someone like that basically through the most hectic month of our entire kind of season, where also a lot was sort of riding on games and whatnot and dealing with all the injuries, etc. I think he's kind of come out of it impressively, actually, all in one piece to a degree, Antonio Conte, and hasn't really made much of a big fuss of anything, hasn't had any really big blow-ups or anything that we're aware of, Dave, or of any kind. He sort of, let's say, kind of just trudged on, put his head down, and went through a pretty tough month of October. So I think with also the context of Gianpiero Ventrone's loss as well, Paddy, it does kind of make you respect the man, at least, certainly, for, you know, and also maybe show him a bit of adoration for kind of going through that time period in the way that he did.
Yeah. Big up, Paddy. Big yourself up, my man. Good answer, Jack.
And also, Paddy, I think exactly right. I think probably the most likely explanation for that guy running down Tottenham High Road. It's the only explanation. He just escaped from the Tottenham medical.
Yeah, it was absolutely, I had me in stitches, my man. Absolutely in stitches. Darren Kilban, any relation to the great Kevin Kilban? Let me know. He says, if Levy wants to show ambition, go all out and get Gavardiol, no matter what it takes. A top right wing back and another midfielder. Evening men, great show. Big up, Darren. No centre back on that list. Come on. Look, people can suggest all these other positions, but please make sure centre back is
Gavardiol, Dave. He's put Gavardiol in there. No matter what it takes, get Gavardiol.
Yeah, true. Actually, true. Sorry about that, Darren. Jumping the gun. Big yourself up, my man. Who else have we got? Foggy Foam. He says the point of two centre-backs is a good idea, but we could do with a player to replace Dyer and sort out the left centre-back in the summer because we have Langley who's on loan. So for me, right wing-back must be a top priority. Fair enough. Fair enough, my man. Douglas Talks says, good evening, guys. Praying for some positive contract agreements. I think we're all praying for that, my man. Big up. Good to see you in the building. Calavia says, I know about the player, not his personal life, but apparently Porro has really weird relationship with João Felix's girlfriend. I personally don't want Porro at Tottenham. Definitely won't be good to be bringing that baggage for sure. Interesting. I don't know where you heard that. Don't know where you heard it, my man. Elias, big yourself up, brother. He says David is in war mode today since he said we don't need a right wing back but centre back. Hashtag love Eric Dyer. Look, I wouldn't say combative mode, war mode. I think that's a bit too out there. I would just say being realistic and not being oblivious or nostalgic, to be honest with you. I would just say I look at who cost me points this season. I don't blame everybody else around him but that person. I put the blame on him. I know some people don't like it, but so I think it's just being more realistic than entering war mode, to be honest with you. Someone let me know where right wing back cost us a goal directly compared to centre back. and how many times you stack it up compared to how many times Eric Dyer's cost us points this season. Just saying. Just saying. So I wouldn't say war mode. I would say realistic. But big up, Elias. It's war. It's on, my man. It's on. Tequila316 says, hi, Irish and the Flat Cap Armies. Big yourself up. Big up, Claude Murphy. Good to see you. Says, yeah, I remember Nabet, but he was not one. Not because of World Cup tournament. What a goal he scored. I think it was against Arsenal. Cracker. Big up, T.O. Great to see you, brother. Good to see you in the building, my man. We've also got Elias Rotis. He says, hello from Cyprus. Big up, my man. I hope you're keeping well. Alpesh Patel says, evening all. I hope you're wrapped up warm. Not snowing over here yet. I'm a bit jealous. I do want the snow, if I'm being brutally honest. And then Steve D says, would still pick him over anyone on the planet to take a pen. If penalties weren't given, they would be in the game. Even lads. Interesting stat on that, Steve D. Actually, here's where we can maybe we can come together. We don't have to be rivals anymore because your defense of Harry Kane. So what I will say to you, Steve D, is what no one would say is outside of penalty shootouts in internationals, Harry Kane has the best penalty conversion rate of any player. So if Harry Kane missed it, what other player would have scored it? Tell me that if he's got the best conversion rate. Little stat that nobody's really talking about there, my man. Big yourself up. Slim by Tubbs, big up the oxymoron. Says, even the lads, hope all is good. Come on, you Spurs. We've also got Mr. John Nellis. Good, big yourself up. And Elvis in the building as well. And how can we forget the one and only Ellie? Can I get on, lads? Need some Spurs there. Of course you can, Ellie. Unfortunately, the back end is full. Yeah. So as guests drop off, you're just going to have to try and keep clicking to get in. I can't even send you a special link because it's full. So but just keep trying, my dear. Big yourself up. Big up Ian Ferguson. I'm going to take one or two more and then we're going to crack on. It says, afternoon all. Just listening in the background while finishing up work. Big up Ian. Look forward to speaking to you. And Stuart727 says, don't forget the way Levy paid respect to our greatest ever manager on the anniversary of his death. Oh, wait, do me a favor. Fair point, Stuart. And big up, Amir. Good to see you in the building. I hope you're keeping well, my man.
Big up, Amir.
And Darren Ferrin as well says, I have no haters on trying to save energy. You got to have them on over here. It's cold. And William Pretty says we need a centre back, right wing back, and a centre attacking midfield and a right wing winger. Then we might win the league. Yeah, that would be nice. But Darren, it is a sad state of times that, with the price of everything, it has gotten to that stage, my man. Hopefully it's not too serious, brother. And Jerome says, morning, lads. Hope you're both doing well. Big up, Jerome. Hope you're Jerome. Well, my man. But look, Jacko.
Patty Higgins, just quickly, member for 7 months. Big up Patty Higgins, Flat Cap member as well, says #1 YouTube channel for Spurs fans. #Flat Cap Army. Big up Patty Higgins. Patty Higgins. Big up, my man. You absolute legend. 7 months as well. And appreciate your support this whole time. And appreciate the love as well, my man. Way too kind. Big up, brother.
Big up, Paddy. Absolute legend, my man. Absolute legend. I love the pictures he sends me. He's a good man, Paddy. He's a very good man. Paddy, I will see you at the Aviva one of these days, man. You got to get up, brother. You've got to, all the way from Clare. Big yourself up. But look, let's start cracking into it. We've got hella guests. We've got people constantly trying to get in the studio. So let's start getting them on. Let's hear what they have to say.
Yeah, and just quickly, everybody, if you are finding frustration and trying to get in, it's just because the lobby is full. There are already a lot of people who are in here wanting to have their say, and so we'll try to do our best to get you on. But that is the reason why you're having probably trouble getting in at this moment. But we're starting off with Dermatron time. He's getting us warmed up.
Well, I will say it is great to see that so many people want to talk about Spurs again. I feel like all my friends are coming back. It's brilliant. But look, let's get on Dermatron. Let's get it going. Dermatron, how are you keeping, my man?
Not too bad. I'm actually watching you in HD, which is really weird.
Oh, nice. Which is
Dave, I can't say it on air. I'll tell you in private. And please stop putting my pictures up on Twitter. I was running outside White Hart Lane just to lose a bit of weight. That's why I wore the mask. So please stop putting my pictures up there. You and Paddy Hunt.
You didn't ask to be videoed, Dermot. You didn't ask to be videoed. Yeah,
I know. I didn't ask for video, but there's me running. Jesus, lads, stop putting it up there. But anyway, how are we, lads?
Honestly, the guy was a machine, like turbo. Honestly, it was like a Rocky moment. It was classic.
I thought it was Gareth Southgate trying to run away from the England media, to be fair.
It was an absolute classic. But Dermo, where do you want to kick this off? Where do you want to start, my man?
Look, this Conte thing. Tottenham have the rights for Conte for another year. So this Conte going not sign new contract. Look, they'll sign him up for another year. and then they'll do it then between now and the end of next summer. So don't be surprised if they announce we've got Conte signed an extension, another year, and then they'll sort it out then between now and next summer. Tottenham hold the rights to that, so it's not down to Conte. It's down to Levy and Tottenham, and of course they've got to. If they don't, then they need shooting in the head because it'd be like a brain dead decision. So Conte will be here. So I think we all need to relax and just calm. He will be here for next season.
Well, look, come back, Dermot, with a tan. He's come back with a tan. He's looking good. He's rejuvenated, re-energized, says Ali Gold. And there's a bit of rumors that he is actually considering perhaps extending the contract, maybe even a 2-year sort of kind of extension. I think it's probably what kind of they're looking at. Do you feel like that could be the case, that Antonio Conte, after that hectic month of October, is taking some time away, maybe taking the family off to a vacation in Hawaii, Sicily, you never know, and has come back and maybe just sort of looked at it and he says, you know what, Tottenham might not be all that bad. I'll give it another chance and maybe kind of settle down a bit more kind of here. Do you think that could be the case, or is it sort of getting a bit too hopeful?
I think so. He's had a tough month, though. October was a hell of a month for him with everything that's happened. With his friend passing away, he couldn't get his daughter over because she had to finish her exams at school. So he's away from his family. It was a tough month. He's had a hell of a month. So this break has actually probably come at the best time for him. He looks rejuvenated. He looks happy. He looks determined. He looks determined. And I think it's great. I think it's great to see him looking like that. And it's great for us because he will want to stay now. He doesn't want to go back to Italy. He can win stuff with us. He can build a legacy with us. Which is what it's all about.
What do you make of the reports then that Morata wants to make a return to Juve with Del Piero, and the only way he's doing that is if Conte is a part of the plans? What do you make of them reports? Because look, I know the reports that he was over there on a break injury and everything else, but the matter of fact he was injured. How do we know conversations haven't taken place? So does that scare you at all?
Not really, no, not really, because you can't believe everything you read in the Italian media anyway. Half of it's made up. And if there's no football news because of the World Cup, Italy are not in the World Cup, so they have to put something in their papers. So I think it's a load of cobblers. I don't think it's true at all. I think Conte wouldn't do that to us. I think we have backed him, though a lot of people have not agreed with that, but we have. We looked after him, and you know what I mean? I think we showed him loyalty, so I think he will show us loyalty. And I think that's what it's going. I think it's a load of cobblers. He won't be going anywhere. If he does, I'd be very, very surprised.
And come here, if you were Antonio Conte, Dermot, what assurance would you be looking for off Levy? What is a necessity for you that you need that assurance so that you put pen to paper if you're in Conte's shoes?
I want a good slice of money for the January transfer window, so we can get a right centre back and a right wing back. And I think in the summer, I want at least 200 and 250 million. Let's get rid of this Deadwood and let's rejuvenate the squad completely. New goalkeeper, 2 new centre backs, new midfielder, and probably a new right winger or a left winger. I think striker wise, I think we're fine there, but we need people to replace Dyer, Sanchez, Doherty, all the usual suspects. We need to spend money and replace them, and we need to do it now.
I see a lot being made about the right wing back. Is that more urgent over centre back for you?
For me, the centre back's more urgent than the right wing back. I think I agree with you in a way when you said we could cope with it to the end of the season, because you are right. When Kulu plays there, he does make the right wing back look good. So I think a centre back we've got to get somebody in to replace Dyer. I mean, he could have a great, say, 6 or 7 games, and then suddenly fuck up and cost us 3 points. You need somebody there that you can trust, that go with Romero, go with Longley. And then if you have them 3 as a back three, you've got a good left wing back and a good right wing back. I think you've got a back 5 that could be there for the next 3, 4, 5 years. And get Bazzuno in for me as well from Southampton. I'd buy him now. I don't care if it's going to cost us more. I want to see him in the Tottenham shirt because I think he's one of the best keepers. He's going to be one of the best keepers in the world in the next 5, 6 years.
Looking forward to the Brentford game, Dermo. Obviously, Bentancur's position is up for grabs. He's suspended. He won't be available. Plus, he's injured anyway. Who do you give that chance to in midfield? Do you think Basuma, who look, he's been hit and miss whether we like it or not. We've seen some awful games from him, but then we've seen some really good things from him. Skip I think was non-existent against Motherwell. I didn't think he was good against Nottingham Forest when he played either, or against who was it, Bournemouth. He looks like it's going to take him longer to come back from the injury. So, who do you put in beside Højbjerg without being detrimental to us?
Look, I would go for Basuma. I think, look, he may be hit and miss, but Skip was non-existent. The highlights I saw of the Motherwell game, he wasn't there. So, do you know what I mean? It's all. Would it put Harvey White in there?
Yeah, he was impressive. He was impressive.
Yeah.
I saw
he was.
Yeah.
So would you start bringing in some of these younger players now? You've tried Basuma, you've tried Skip, who's you say was non-existent. Why not try Harvey White?
I think he was good. It was interesting the way Conte set him up, with him sort of being that sort of calm. Is that something that Conte is looking at doing going forward? Be very, very interesting to see. With Harvey White, I actually think he's bulked up an awful lot as well. He's grown taller. He looked physique-wise similar to Kulu, in my opinion. He is 22 years of age as well. I think there's definitely potential in the guy. I'm just not sure he'd be handed. I think Conte will actually hand Basuma that start. I think we put investment into him. He's an international. Look, we know if there's a player in there from what we see at Brighton. I just really hope that Basuma takes this opportunity. If he doesn't take the opportunity, then I think there's a conversation. Skip Harvey White, but I think Basuma will be for Brentford. But Jacko, any maybe final question for Dermo?
Yeah, Dermot. I think first, I do think Basuma will be stepping in, no question. But when we kind of get back into things, Dermot, is Harry Kane kind of coming back from this all? Is he coming back stronger, do you think? Is he going to need some time to recoup and kind of also maybe get some confidence back? Is he going to be maybe more motivated maybe after that miss? Where do you think kind of Harry Kane's mentality is when he kind of returns back to the training ground and returns back to Spurs and looks at the season ahead? Where is he kind of at mentally, do you think?
I think he will be hurting. He will be hurting. It will hurt him for a while for what happened. I think he's the type of player that will take responsibility where he shouldn't really. It could happen to anyone. Roberto Baggio, probably the greatest players in the 90s, missed the penalty in the World Cup final. So, it's happened to other players in the past.
Can he come back stronger, do you think? Is he that type
I think so. Yeah. I think he'll take it and take it as a motivation to prove everyone wrong. I think he'll take it and he use it to actually prove people that I'm still the best. I'm still good at what I'm doing. Yeah, and look, he will break the England record. I know he's joint top scorer with them. He will break it. And he'll go on. He will win stuff with us and he will win something with England one day. I think Harry Kane is a unique individual, a unique striker, top striker in the world. And we're lucky to have him. We really are lucky to have him. And we need to look after him. We need to put his arm around him, take care of him, give him all the help he needs, and let him get through this tough period. Because if we don't, it could affect him. But knowing Harry Kane, as we know Harry Kane, he'll be there in Brentford with pull the Spurs shirt on, and he will be banging them in again. Do you know what I mean? Harry Kane is probably the greatest striker we've ever seen since Jimmy Greaves. And I've no doubt, I would say that he is the greatest striker since Jimmy Greaves. And for our generation, we're lucky to have him. So let's look after him. And all them people who put them stuff up on Twitter, bad-mouthing them, even some Spurs fans, you're not Tottenham fans. So go back to under the rock you've crawled on. Leave Harry Kane alone. He's one of the greatest strikers in the world. If you don't shut up, Dave will be at your front door.
Yeah, I think you've seen Dave. He's whipped out a sword. I think yesterday, and in order to defend Harry Kane. And
I just think we're lucky to have him, and we should be grateful because there will be time when he won't be here, and we will miss him. So let's enjoy him when we've got him. Yeah, exactly, Dave. Let's enjoy what we've got. We've had great strikers over the years at Tottenham, but Harry Kane is next to Jimmy Greaves for me, and long may continue.
Yeah, 100%. Well, Darren, I'll give the channel a quick plug, my man, before we let you go.
Yeah, TFCC till I don't. We're back with a bang now. We're back properly every day this week. We've got 3 shows. We've got Newspeak 3 times a week. Me and Philip are doing the history show on Thursday at 8 o'clock. We've got the 2 watch-alongs for the semi-finals, Croatia, Argentina, and Morocco and France. And yeah, we've got Ellie's show back now every Monday. And Mia's joined the channel now to help Mia with the lady show. And yeah, so we've got lots of things coming up. We've got lots of exciting new shows, and we're going to do some golden games as well. And me and Philip are going to go into the archives and pick up international games from the past as well. And we're going to look at them as well. So we've got a lot of exciting, funny, great laugh things coming up, but also some serious debates as well. So yeah, we're really are going to go for the 1,000 now before the end of the season. So that's the plan.
Appreciate everyone. Get over there, check it out, smash that subscribe button on THFC till I die. Great personalities over there. Really like all the characters over there as well, the people involved. So Darmo, big yourself up, my man, and we'll speak soon.
Speak soon. I'm now going to see how cold it is in Wexford, and if certain parts of my body drop off, then I know it's cold. So I'll see you later.
Dermot, don't go on too many of those runs, okay? You can't be doing too many of those in 1 week. You need time to let the blood settle.
Dave, stop filming me. That's all I'm going to ask you, man. Just stop filming me.
Big up, Dermot.
Take care. God bless you all.
See you, my man. Big up. Everybody, get over there and support the Dermatron. Absolute legend. So he is. But look, we've got to keep moving because we know people want to get on and have their say. We've got Ellie. Big up, Ellie. Hope you're keeping well. I magnificent time in Dublin with her. Really enjoyed walking down O'Connell Street with her as well. Had good time, she says. Lolly, for my jolly fellas who brighten up my life because I had COVID and ingested fuel coming back from Dublin and have been so poorly. Well, it's important that you didn't catch it in Dublin. That's the main thing. Yes, she had an incident going across the runway where they were letting off fumes or something like that from a plane. And she's been in a bad way. But Ellie, it's good to see that you're back. And like I said, that Christmas decoration I got you from Nuber Silverware, make sure you send me a video when it's up on the tree. That's what I want to see. Big up, Ellie. And she'll always have a part of the Irish Hotspur with her now. Absolutely love it.
Honestly, Ellie, I think what happened maybe is just such 3 amazing Spurs personalities all just clashed, I think, in one place. And then I think everybody just kind of came out the worst where it's just like, Dave, like 3 superheroes, the Spurs, all just coming together, especially in Ellie's case and Dermot's case, coming out to meet you. And I really think that, yeah, you probably just had such a good time that you just sort of come under the weather after it. But Ellie, I really do hope that you start to feel a bit better. And I am sorry that this has all happened, especially, I think, during this kind of World Cup time period, during this holiday time period, when all you want to be doing is just relaxing and feeling your best with the family. So hopefully maybe some of the daughters, maybe Theo can cook you up something good maybe this holiday time period and get you back feeling the right way, because I feel like, this is the time for her to spend time with that big family of hers as well. So big up, Ellie.
Yeah. Big up, Ellie. And how's Theo doing as well? Absolute gentleman. I like him. He's a good guy, Jack. So he has a good conversations with him.
Hopefully Theo? He's taking care of her. Big up, Theo.
Absolute legend. They're great people, honestly. Anyone that gets a chance to meet them, I encourage you guys. They're absolutely smashing people. Joseph says, welcome back, guys. Big up you guys every time. Come on, you Spurs. Big up, Joseph, my man. It is good to be back, brother. Well, nearly back. Unfortunately, not unfortunately, actually, we've got 2 cracking World Cup semi-finals to watch. We then will have a debate show Thursday. Hopefully, it'll be myself, Jack, and Sean anyway. And I'm going to text one of the Weird Tottenham TV brothers, see what they're up to, wake them up, get them out of bed, get them back over here. That's what I say, Joseph. But big yourself up, brother. Great to see you. It's great to see everybody coming back. Tottenham are on the way back. Good times ahead. Come on. Big up, Joseph.
Big up, Joseph. Hopefully, I'm not sure if you were there for the watch along, Joseph, but that's, once we did that watch along with Motherwell, it's like, all right, we're starting to come back. Spurs are starting to, be around the corner again. And it feels good, Joseph. It feels good. Appreciate you, my man.
Love it. Big up, Joseph. Elias says Eric Dyer is joining Dermot too. Honestly, he can have him. I don't want him. But love that, though, Elias. Big yourself up, my man. He's infatuated with Eric Dyer, Elias.
Might be fewer appearances then for Dermot, maybe, for Dave on Dermot's channel. Dermot's, of course, still welcome back on the Irish Hotspur just as much. But I think if that meant Eric Dyer was making a lot of appearances there, Dave might find it hard to show up on THFC till I die. So a tough situation for Dermot there. Does he pick Eric Dyer? Does he pick Dave? Battle of choices.
I'm pretty sure I win. I do more for Tottenham than what Eric Dyer does, to be honest with you, Jacko. But I think we need to find something for Elias. I don't think he's quite right. I think we need a few AA meetings for Elias with this Eric Dyer fangirl, and it's honestly passed me the puke bucket. But anyway,
Moondog could maybe help him out. Moondog could help him out. He got rid of the Eric Dyer bug. Maybe I'll help him out. Big up.
Big up, my man. The bottom, do it. Great to see you, buddy. I hope you are keeping well. Good to see you back. He says, Morocco in the semis with a solid defensive play. Argentina in the semis with a three at the back. Tiki-taka merchant Spain are out, yet some will say we play boring football. Conte just needs his players. Well, Jacko, I'm going to let you go off on this one. I'll have a little say at the end.
I think you're really making a great point there, Bottom Dude. I even said just to prove your point further, I even said to Dave just the other day or even today, if only Germany maybe played a little bit less like Germany, they probably would have gotten maybe a bit further down in this tournament. I feel like this sort of progressive, attacking, attractive, gung-ho type of style of football, it does not really do well in this type of tournament setting. You need to be more pragmatic. You need to be aware of kind of the mistakes that maybe a team can make. And you need to have sort of, plans in place in case, maybe mistakes happen. And a team like Morocco as well, they're really fascinating, I think, to Bottom Dude, because they don't really sit that deep, really. Like their back line is not like in their box all the time, but they just sort of engage the opponent when the right time. They take away that defensive midfielder like Busquets and players like that. They are going about it, I think, in a very interesting way. And it might not be tiki-taka football, like you said, but it's something different. I think it's been actually really beautiful to watch, actually, the way that Morocco have gone about it and the way that other teams have gone about it has also really opened, I think, people's minds up to different tactics and different things. I thought also Ecuador played really interesting too. They were fun to watch. A lot of good defensive teams that were, I think, really attractive and fun to watch. And you're absolutely right, my man. But yeah, and it does show that it's not the tiki-taka merchants that are going to be winning World Cups anymore, Dave.
Look, I don't like tiki-taka. I think it's very, very boring, if I'm being brutally honest. I like attacking football. There's a difference between tiki-taka, which is keep the ball, rather than attacking football. There's a big difference. Look, for me, I actually don't even like defensive football, but I understand it's the great equalizer if you're coming up against a better team. Now, in order for us to go and play this on-the-front football and match teams man for man, you've got to have a backline that can keep goals out. So, we can't have our cake and eat it. We either get rid of the guys that are there, that are not producing, that are not good enough, and bring in guys that can do it to do it, or we sit there and accept this sort of style of play as long as they're here. So the choices are, look, for me, look, I've said this before. I'm not a big fan of the three. I call it 5 at the back. To be honest with you, the way being backs, I call it 5 at the back. Not the biggest fan of it. I'd love to switch to a back 4. But it's not why we hired Antonio Conte. We hired him for his philosophy, his style, and with that comes his formation. Because of his CV, which everything I just mentioned there gave him his CV, and plus his man management and everything. So for me, look, you can sit here and say we want them to go to a back 4, but I mean it's just fantasy land. Yeah. Conte is never ever going to switch to a back 4. I mean, I want sugar canes. It's Christmas. It doesn't mean I'm going to get them. You know what I mean? But the bottom do, look, there's a purpose and a place, and until we improve that back line, it hinders us going forward in possession, and it also hinders us defensively. So,
great connections, my man.
That has to be improved right throughout.
Love the connections you made there to Bottom Dude, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can, my friend. And honestly, really, really great connections you made to Conte from this World Cup. Absolutely right, brother. Really
good talking point, my man. Big up the Bottom Dude. Good to see you back in full swing, my man. Paddy Harnett, we will be served. There'll be a good crew of us, actually. I think it's about 18 of us, I think, my man. It'll be a very good crew, actually. So look forward to it. Really, really look forward to it. I have a few things in mind that I want to do when I'm over there as well, content-wise. So hopefully we can put it off. But Paddy, we should be there. Jerome says, I am sick of this narrative that Harry will never be a legend of football until he wins a trophy. What a load of bull. Look, so sometimes what I will say is when you have them trophies, 9 times out of 10, it's you that's produced that moment. It's you that's dragged your team through that tight moment and got that goal to get over the line or dragged your team over the line. Harry Kane is yet to do that in some of the finals that I've seen him play in. But The guy has every single individual record there is out there, and he's going to break the last few that there is. So for me, his name will always be in the record books. And if your name are always in the record books, guess what? That makes you a legend, Jerome. What would you say, Jacko?
I think Harry Kane has probably dragged and pulled England through so many different performances and through so many different games. At some stages, he was, taking corners for them. That's how bad it was getting over at England. He's kind of played through some of the worst England teams, and he's also dragged even this best version of the England team through certain results and through certain games. And I thought that last Euros as well probably would have earned him a bit of credit in the bank, because it was kind of just really him and Sterling that were probably some of the best players, I thought, that whole tournament for the likes of England, if I recall correctly. So it's only kind of convenient for them, Jerome. They're looking for somebody to blame. It's the guy that missed the penalty. And it's also more beneficial to them that happens to be a Spurs player as well, because then they know that they can then take even more sort of kind of hate and blame, because everybody loves the fact that it's also a Spurs player that missed the penalty too. So I think it's just a bit of a double whammy for Harry Kane. And I feel really bad for him. But I don't think they're aware, Jerome, that he was just training outside Tottenham High Road yesterday. He was running in the snow. He's getting ready. I think he's going to come back stronger, Jerome. I think he's going to see all this, and he's going to take this as sort of extra motivation to come back even better.
Of course he'll be back stronger, 100%. The man, I was on the phone to him. I said, look, Kane, don't mind all them haters. As you can see on the podcast, I had the two spoons blocking out the haters for Harry Kane. And what I will say is, look, I just know the guy. He said to me, look, Dave, don't worry. I'm going to come back better than ever. And I said, look, dedicate your next goal to me. I've been at the front of the war. I've been out there with the swords fighting everybody off, big man. So, but look, he'll be back. Don't worry about that, Jerome. Big yourself up, brother. Who else have we got here? We've got Ellie. She says, big up, Ellie. She says, putting the Christmas tree up tomorrow. I actually think it's a crime that it's not up already, if I'm being brutally honest. But hey ho, we'll let you and Theo away with it. She says, Theo has been taking care of me really well. He's my night nurse too, and I have Højbjerg. What a treat, Jack. I wonder, does he come gift wrap, Jacko?
I thought Theo probably would have been arguing for that day shift, but I guess Ellie, wasn't having it, Dave. Højbjerg gets to be there, bringing the tea in the morning, bringing, the sandwiches, bringing the soup as well to get Ellie fixed. And then Theo's there for the night shift. I feel bad for Theo because he probably wished he had the day shift. I think he might have earned the day shift, but when it's Højbjerg, he's probably the best nurse in town, I would think, Ellie. So you got to give him the day shift there. And good to see that Theo as well is taking really good care of you. And I also, like I said, hopefully you can get kind of back into the festive spirit and be able to just enjoy it, kind of, feeling your best and, feeling healthy with the whole family. Because I know you probably have a really big family Christmas as well, Ellie. I know a big family over there with you, especially with the Kakaratas family.
If anyone that's tuning in, we're not talking about Ellie's naked butler service whatsoever. She's just not well at the minute, and these guys are looking after her. But big up, Ellie. Really appreciate the support, my dear. Honestly, it's great. Love having the banter. Love it. Daniel Larson says, sorry, lads, I had to drop out because my girlfriend is staying over. Whoa, whoa. And she is off to bed. She can't really talk. See you next time.
No worries, Daniel. I think, Daniel, it was the private chat was the private chat was going pretty quickly. You might have put your explanation for what happened. I just saw that you couldn't, that you had to leave. So I apologize, Daniel. I just was kind of saying it's really hectic right now. A lot of people are trying to get in here, so we can't save spaces at the moment. But Daniel, no need to do this, my man. Really, really kind of you. And good to see the missus is, kind of taking your mind off of Spurs. But we're going to need you thinking about Spurs at some stage, Daniel, especially after Højbjerg puts in a worldie. We're going to need you back here at some stage. But I'm glad to see, Dave, that Daniel, he's got other things to think about other than Højbjerg and Spurs, every now and again.
No, fair play. Enjoy your evening. I just wonder, is he using it as an excuse to jump into the bed with her, or does he or is that the rule set by her? Let me know, Daniel. Big yourself up, brother. Have a good evening and enjoy yourself, my man. Enjoy yourself. And then we've got Elias. He says, Harry Kane and Dyer are both legends for me. I mean, honestly, it's a crime to have the two of them in the same name, if I'm being brutally alongside legend. There's only one name that deserves to be alongside there. But look, I'm not going to tell you what to think. Just don't come crying to me when we don't win. That's all I'm going to say. But look, Jacko, let's keep moving. Let's kick this up. We've got some other guests who've been very, very patient with us. Let's get them on. Who's next?
I think it's Brad. Let me make sure. Mia, actually. Whoa, Mia, I'm already starting off on a yellow card with you. Mia, it's Mia.
Remember that.
It's Mia second. Then it's Brad third. But Mia, let's bring her on, Dave.
Let's get her on. Mia, how are you keeping?
I was okay until Jack decided to mess up, but
Love to start with a yellow card, Mia.
That?
You know me.
He steals my things. Now he's trying to push me down the line. I don't know about this, Jack, man. Like, we're gonna fall out. We really are.
Can't trust the Yanks anymore.
No, you bloody Yanks, man.
Mia, what do you want to talk about kind of this evening? Is it kind of maybe Harry Kane, after the penalty?
Let's start with Kane, because obviously that's where Dermot left. So his last comment was about Kane. So I'll start with Kane. I think that it's really bad that obviously the amount of hate that he's going to get, and I just hope that he is going to go to his wife, his family, spend a bit of time, and I do think he's going to come back and try and prove a point. But someone else did make a point, I can't remember where I saw it, I think it was on the group chat, saying that maybe this will make Kane want to leave, because if Conte don't sign a contract, then he might feel like he's got a point to prove, as in to win something. Because I do think that matters to him. I do think it matters. I think it matters to all players. And while I understand what you were saying, Dave, about if his name's in the book, that makes him a legend of sorts. But we all know that trophies are what matter, because when you sit down and look back, you go, what trophies did he win? And that is a thing. And like, we can't deny that isn't a thing, because it really is. Like, Alan Shearer didn't win it with Newcastle, but he did win with Blackburn, so even he's got one under his belt, so I think that it does matter to him. So that's the only other point, is if Conte doesn't sign a contract, will Kane want to just maybe think our ambitions aren't big enough, and will he want to move?
Kane's out of here if Conte doesn't sign. It was clear that Nuno didn't see a vision, didn't see anything gone. He's like, I'm out here. I'm going to try and get to Man City while they're looking for a striker. Look, Kane, you're right. Kane is at the point of his career where if he doesn't see progression, or he doesn't see a manager that can deliver him trophies, he's gone. And that's why he was ready to leave Nuno behind, because he looks at these other managers who come call him, I'm going to win trophies. That's why he stayed with Jose after the Poch thing, because there was also concerns there. That's why he stayed when Conte was announced, because why would he leave when there's a manager coming in that's delivering trophies, that has a history of delivering trophies? There's only a select few managers you can play under that have that sort of history.
Yeah, and the other thing I would say to you is that I was listening to what Jermaine Genius was saying, and he did have a very good point in that the times that we've played and actually got through to like the Champions League final, or the games we played well, was when Kane wasn't there. When Kane has played those games, he hasn't quite turned up. So I don't know if that's a mentality thing or what that is. And I'm not saying he's to blame for England losing at all, because I don't believe that. It's because all the players are on the pitch. There's 11 men on that pitch. It isn't just Kane. They all should have tried better. They should have all made more chances. They could have created chances, and they didn't. So we weren't bad, but obviously it's not all down to Kane, in my opinion. However, you've got to think that he just hasn't turned up. He hasn't. When he's had the opportunities, he does have this thing. So he's got another point to prove. Not only that, it's the big games that he probably feels like he's let himself down, because he probably feels like he feels guilty. And I know that he feels guilty, because you could tell that look on his face when he missed it, and when the whistle went, you could see that look on his face. I've seen that look, that real upset, disappointment look.
Yeah. You also know when you're the best player in the team, right? Someone like Kane, you kind of know that you're dependent on, and you kind of know that there are going to be moments when you do sort of, right, lack of a better term, put the team on your back and kind of be sort of faultless, like in a way. Often what it requires of sometimes the best players in order to get through sometimes the toughest of opponents is for them to have close to near perfect games. And I think that's sometimes what's fallen short maybe for Kane in these sort of moments, is he hasn't been able to have maybe that worldly of a game. But that's also no criticism of him, I think, in the same time.
No.
Either, because we've seen Messi do it, and Messi's probably the only one that's done it so far this tournament, actually, in being able to sort of stand up to another level to carry his team through. And to
be fair, so far, Messi's not won the World Cup, and he is that type of player, and he's never done it. So, like, obviously there are times. So it happens to everyone. I'm not trying to put like the blame, like I say, on Kane at all, because I've been the one defending him. Absolutely, I won't have it. People being horrible to him, like, no, not at all. It's not his fault. But I do think that he might want to prove a point, and I do feel like him leaving is going to be dependent on Conte, and then this Conte thing's obviously playing on everybody's mind. But like Dermot said, there is an extension that we can, I think, just activate. And maybe
we're not going to activate if we know he doesn't want to commit. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's like, really difficult.
Why would Tottenham keep a manager if he's not happy? It's all well and good saying, "Oh yeah, we can just activate and he's here for a year." But there's so many things he can do that'll just get him sacked anyway within that year if he doesn't want to be here.
Well, what I suppose the thought is that what you could do is discuss with him and say, are you happy for us to activate it? And then see how it goes from there, because that's obviously something that we could do. And I think that's probably what the discussions are now. I believe the discussions now are going to be, he's setting forward what he thinks is best for the club and what he wants, and we're saying to him, right, okay, negotiating that and saying, are you happy for us to extend it for another year? Because I don't think they'll do it without his permission or with him not wanting to. So I think that's probably where the discussions probably are.
I think, being brutally honest, I think it would have been done already if because they want Conte to commit, so that it puts an end to the Juve rumours, right? So they could easily just tie him down for another year, and then but it's still never going to make the Juve rumours disappear. Even if you had a 5-year contract, it's still not going to make them disappear. If they want them, they're going to come calling. And for me, look, that extra year that Tottenham have, it's irrelevant. You're not going to trigger that year if he's unhappy and keep him around here. So it doesn't matter. Like, the fact that we're sitting there waiting on him to decide whether he wants to pen a new contract or not, it just shows that year extension is non-existent.
Well, I suppose we don't know the ins and outs. We don't know that if they've been talking to him, how long they've been discussing it, and how long he's decided, like if he set out what he wants yet, and they're negotiating it, because negotiations don't always happen overnight. They can take time, and obviously he may be putting a plan forward for a certain amount of time. We just don't know. That's the problem, isn't it? It's the unknown. It's because we don't know the ins and outs of it. So we're on the outside thinking what's going on. So we can't tell what the exact ins and outs are. So no, I suppose 100%, that's where we'll obviously feel like we're a bit like in the dark and we're all speculating, but we don't know. So I hope that he does. I hope that he's happy, and I hope that he says in January, this is what I want. And we go, yep. Cool, this is what you want, sweet, let's do it, let's do another year, and then see what happens. Maybe after 6 months, see if he wants to sign a renewed contract and say, let's do it for a bit longer, because that's obviously always an option too. If we sign it for a year, he could then think in the summer, by summer he's happy. If he's happy, he might want to stay longer. The thing is, we all kind of knew with Conte that he's not a long term thing, and the problem is that he did kind of suggest that he might want to stay somewhere longer. So we just don't know, because we're not mind readers, so we don't know what he's thinking, do we? So it's really difficult.
He's come back freshly tanned, Mia. He's come back, according to Ali Gold, re-energized, rejuvenated. Has he maybe come back into the situation, maybe with some time away from it, thinking like, you know what, might not have been all that bad. Maybe, Spurs might not be actually as in dire of a situation as he might have thought, or basically maybe what he.
Can we not ban the D word? D word banned. We're not having that word. I think that obviously a fresh having a bit of a break. I said to you before that I feel like this actually was a perfect time for us to have a bit of a break, because I do feel like Conte needed that break, and I feel like he needed that like to go away from the situation and maybe have a little think about it and come back and feel a bit more refreshed, because it is difficult. And obviously as well, the games were stacked on top of each other, and he doesn't normally play like that. Normally Conte likes to have time to adjust like the plan for the next game. So he said that, didn't he? He said that he hasn't had a lot of time, but I think that's obviously something that's affected him as well, where now he knows that obviously he can come back and the games aren't stacked up like they were, so he's probably got a bit more time, and he might have gone back on it and thought, right, where did we go wrong with this game and this game, and probably had a little think as well, like a little rethink, had a bit more time. So I think it probably did actually do him good to come away from the situation, because we all get like that. Like sometimes if you can't solve a problem and then you go away and then you come back and you're like, oh, that's how you do it. Sometimes
you just need to take your mind off it entirely. Like just forget about it, come back to it later, and then you realize maybe you were missing something all along, or wasn't all bad originally. Mia, I did also want to ask you though, just because Dave did bring up a bit of a controversial kind of opinion that he'd be okay with maybe sticking with the micro penises for the rest of the season in the case of Doherty and Emerson. Would you be okay with that? Would you be maybe willing to take two center backs instead of a center back and a right wing back? Would you rather have two center backs or a center back and a right wing back?
Do you know what? This is really tricky, because I do think that one centre back and replacing one of the micro penises is probably more preferable. But
you go with your head or your heart in this situation. That's
because like two centre backs, obviously, yes, I agree, we do need them, but if to improve, because of the way that Conte likes to play, the micro penises are just they're small, they don't really do what they need to do they? So like they're not satisfactory, so they're not doing what they're supposed to, and that's the problem. So that probably isn't like the biggest problem. Like the centre backs is a bigger problem, but also that might help. So if we've got Romero and have someone else, and then have, I hate to say it, but have Dyer there just in case, then obviously that's probably slightly better than to have either Doherty or the other micro penis, and have him in like one of them. It's just
Okay. King Hoddle's willing to stick with it for the next few months. Looks like some people are willing to be braving it up with Dave here and put themselves through further pain in order to solve the center back problem. I guess it's also, you could look at it right where, what do you want? Do you solve maybe one problem first entirely, kind of just get that center back issue really fully relieved with maybe getting two center backs in right away, or do you kind of just take a dab at sort of kind of fixing both sort of situations, with maybe one signing in each sector?
Maybe.
But then you could get it wrong. Maybe you still sign a bad right wing back, or you sign a bad center back, and then you're finding yourself still with a massive problem.
For me, it's easy. It's easy. You either replace a guy who kicks the ball to the opposition up in their final third, or you replace a guy who headers the ball down into other players' path on your goal, who miscontrols the ball. It goes over his feet, under his feet, which leads to goals. I mean, it's pretty simple. You can either replace the guy that's costing you goals, or you replace the guy that, he wasn't good enough in the final third, but you've got Kulu back now who just takes the ball off him anyway. So it's pretty simple.
Yeah. I do see your point, is that one costs us goals and one just don't do anything.
Like, we're falling into this trap. We haven't seen Dyer. He's been picked for the World Cup, and all of a sudden, everyone's still on right wing back. Now, I'm just going to say this because I already said this last summer, and it's going to happen again. We don't replace the centre back. Now, Dyer may come back and have a string of 6, 7, 8 good games. First of all, the damage is already done. And when the big games come around again, expect it to happen all over again. But don't come crying to me because you wanted right wing back over a guy who's costing you literal.
Oh no, don't get me wrong, because if we get a centre back, that means that Dyer does not play. Like, I wouldn't want him playing.
No one wanted to hear it in the summer, and that's what drives me mad. Everyone's open arms over it now, and it's like, well, I tried to tell you in the summer, but everyone believes he's good enough. And we're falling into the same trap again, because all I hear is right wing back, Cam. It's like, well, we were there over the summer,
Oh no, I don't want a Cam. I do think that the Cam shouts are a bit crazy. Like the centre back is much more important. Like, to me, the centre back is the number one priority. 1 or 2, we have to get it done. We just have to, because we can't have Dyer playing. I don't care what Elias says. If that boy, he needs to go to therapy, he needs to go to church more, whatever he needs to do, that boy needs to sort himself out, because he's got obsession with this with him. So we can't be having. We can send Dyer to Elias's house. They can spend their little loved up dates. They can have their little dates, and we can get rid of him. I'll pay for the ticket. I'll pay for the ticket for him to go and visit Elias. I swear.
Something's going to need to fix that situation. Absolutely right, Mia. Big yourself up, Mia. And you want to give maybe THFC Till I Die plug or any kind of final comments, maybe, Mia?
Yes. I've obviously just joined them at THFC Till I Die. We did a ladies show earlier today, so if everyone go and give it a watch, a like, a follow, follow it, subscribe, do everything you need to do. I think they're on Twitter as well, so I'm not on Twitter, but if you go over to Twitter, go and follow their page on Twitter as well, and give them a big heads up shout out, and keep sharing it, because obviously sharing's something that helps with the algorithm, etc. Because obviously you never know, the algorithm on YouTube is a bit messed up. It doesn't always work how you think it's going to work. So I know this already from what the things that pop up on my YouTube. Sometimes I get the most random thing pop up. I'm like, where did this come from 5 years ago? I've got something from 9 years ago the other day pop up on my news feed. I'm like, on my feed for YouTube, and I was like, 9 years ago? Why are they sending me this?
Share it around.
Yeah, the algorithm's a bit crazy.
Good to see that Yeah, the ladies show with Ellie, and good to see that just in general that you have maybe more places to be able to get your opinions across, Mia, when it comes to Spurs.
So if you like my opinions, go and join so you can come and watch us.
There you are, everybody. THFC Till I Die. We put the link in there for you, everybody, if you haven't hit it already. But Mia, absolute pleasure as always. Thanks for getting us.
Thank you very much, lads.
Thanks for getting us started, and we will be back with these more regularly, so we will be able to hear from you more. But thanks for showing up again on Monday. We really do appreciate it. Thanks.
No worries.
All right. Big up, Mia.
See you soon.
Bye. Bye. Big up, Mia. Absolute legend. Keep it moving. We've got the bottom due. It says Pedro Porro or Josip Juranovic. I'll be honest with you, the bottom due. I think, okay, Josip Juranovic, I think he's had a decent enough World Cup. But for me, I think he's been average for Celtic, if I'm being brutally honest. I don't buy into the Josip Juranovic hype, if I'm being brutally honest. Pedro Porro solves a lot of problems technically wise on the ball. But if you look at Conte's signings since he's been here, majority of them, Conte's signings, I think nearly every single one of them have reached 6 foot. Is Pedro Porro that big? Interesting, Jack. You?
Yeah, for me, I think the Josip Juranovic one is a bit sort of like overhyped, or I don't know what it really is. Maybe it's just the fact that he has had a good World Cup. Croatia have had a good World Cup, that he's gotten a bit of attention, but his underlying numbers at Celtic aren't great. He's never really impressed me much at Celtic either, Dave. He hasn't even really impressed me much before for Croatia, before even this tournament. Yeah. I think, like you said, he's just had a good tournament. Maybe that's really all it is. So I would take Pedro Porro instead. What I do like about Pedro Porro, though, to bottom dude, is that he has that sort of tactical kind of intelligence going forward. He seems to also know how to kind of pick apart teams with passes. Just is kind of maybe everything that we've been looking for kind of in right wing backs, just a bit more intelligence kind of down that kind of flank than maybe what we've been kind of getting from Emerson or Doherty. I think at this moment in time, he can kind of pick teams out a bit more. So I would take Pedro Porro too, definitely to bottom Duda. Welsh Gal member for 10 months, fan show member as well. She says, roll on Boxing Day, lads. Come on, you Spurs. Thank you for the great content. Love this community. XO, big up, Welsh Gal. Really do appreciate you. And also, I can't wait for Boxing Day, Dave. We did find out it's a really early one, but you have to also come to terms with it's good to have our boys back. It's good to have the Spurs back. And Welsh Gal, she's checked the calendar for Boxing Day. She's looking forward to it.
I'm just trying to find the logistics around it, Jack, to be honest with you, because although I don't drink, my father does, my sister does, and I'm over my parents for Christmas, so it's trying to get back for 12:30 the next day, because even if I want to get taxis don't start till 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening in the small town where I'm from, because they're also drinking Christmas Day. So it's kind of like it's a hard one to get the logistics, but I think I'll try and find a way back Christmas night. But don't worry, we will have a watch along on the 26th regardless. Do not worry about that, Welsh Gal. Big yourself up. I, for one, also can't wait for us to be back. You know, I can't wait. World Cup's been good and all. Nice to have the break, but I'm ready for the pain all over again. I'm ready for Tottenham to be back. Dermatron says, I had a dream. I dreamed that Spurs win the FA Cup this season with Harry Kane scoring the winning goal. Can't wait to go to West Ham and the Milan games. Look, I do think it'll come back and make Kane a better player. I would love to sneak an FA Cup this year. I really would. It'd be very exciting times then heading into the season after. But look, I really can't wait to get to them games as well, Dermo. The Irish Hotspur Derby, of course, got to be there. Taking my own life into my own hands, but that's part of the excitement because may or may not have upset the whole entire West Ham fan base. And the Milan game, I can't wait. Cannot wait. First European game I've ever been to, my man. So big up, Dermatron.
It's going to be a good crew, Dermot. It's going to be a great crew for that Milan game, and it's going to be a good crew for the Irish Hotspur Derby against West Ham as well. Big up, my man. Love you, Dermot.
Big up, my man. And Elias says, I had a dream that Dyer will win the Golden Boot. I'd say.
And he also said Conte needs that break, Dave, and Mia needs a break from Dyer. I think you need a break from Dyer as well, Elias. I think we all do at this stage. His name has been mentioned way too many times on this show, and that probably was even Elias's intention. But Elias, we could all use a break from the boots. That's certainly the case. I think you even deserve one, Elias, even though I know you wouldn't admit it.
Do you know when you were growing up, like most lads probably had like a picture of Pamela Anderson on the wall or something? You know, Elias just has Eric Dyer Moonhead sitting there. It's ridiculous. But look, let's keep it moving. Who have we got next?
Also, just quickly, Mia, member for 2 months, fan show member, say, great chatting to you guys. Big up. Can't wait for the games to be back and spend time with my Spurs family. Come on, you Spurs. Come on, you Spurs. Come on, you Spurs. Big up, Mia. And like I said, sort of warming up to getting things back on the regular, getting things back to the normal schedule. And once we're back on that normal schedule, it's going to be good just to be chatting to everybody again, kind of on the regular, kind of daily as we used to. And I'm looking forward to those days, man. Really appreciate you taking the time as you do on these Monday nights. Big up, Mia.
Yeah, big up, me. Great to see you. Carl Sampson says Elias has a dire addiction like a certain Weeks lover. Well, I mean, the attitude fairly changed when Weeks left, didn't it? I wonder will Elias's attitude change when Dyer leaves? I mean, biggest U-turn I've ever seen, to be honest with you, Carl Simpson. But big yourself up, my man. Absolutely love it.
Time for Brad.
Yeah, no, big up. Let's get Brad on. Let's get him on.
Here he is.
Brado, how you keeping, lad? Mr. Guitar Strings. How are we?
Hello, guys. It's really weird because you're sort of on my screen. You're out of sync, so you're talking and your lips aren't moving. It's quite weird. And then suddenly, it's quite weird. Yeah.
Is that the case for other people? Let us know. Let me take a look at. Let
us know. But anyway, Brad, where are we kicking this off? What do we want to talk about, my man? Let's get straight into it.
Well, let's go with Harry Kane first. I think that's probably the starting point, and we get out of the way. It was an awful moment on Saturday because now everyone in our pub was going mad when we got the penalties. I never go mad when the penalty's given because you haven't scored, you've still got to score. And my heart was in my mouth when he took the first one, against his club goalkeeper, game that big. And what a cracking penalty that was. That's absolutely brilliant. And we're at 1-1. When he got the second one, again, everyone in the pub's going crazy. But it's one of those moments where he hasn't scored this. He's got to score 2 in a big game against his club goalkeeper that knows him.
No.
And it was just that horrible moment as soon as that ball missed. Not only for me as an England supporter, think, oh, that's a chance we've had to get back in the game. But you knew that in those last 8 minutes, if we didn't get the equaliser and went out, Harry Kane was going to be basically public enemy number one on the Twitter sphere. And that made my heart sink. It really did. And then, of course, we saw it. I have to say, from what I've seen on Twitter, there's been a lot of support from him from Tottenham. I imagine it'd be mainly Tottenham, but a lot of people have seemed to be rallying round and sort of having a real go at the people that are putting crap on there. And that was really encouraging to see. But there's one guy, we talked about this in the back room, one guy who put on a tweet, and it was the hangman's noose one. We've seen it before with David Beckham, and he got a lot of stuff on there. People were having a go at him. And I'd been at the pub. I actually came home early from the pub as soon as the game finished, but had a few beers. So I'm not in the best of moods. And I wanted to reply with, you're a fucking waste of space. And I went to hit send, and Twitter comes up with a message saying, that is insulting language. You sure you want to keep posting this? It might be, And I thought, what? So I took out C and put an asterisk and sent it, and it accepted it. And I thought to myself, okay, so, you're fine with people posting someone getting hung, but you can't post fucking on Twitter. So it was,
Madness.
it was just madness. And then, he just had a lot of people on there. But yeah, no, I have to say that the main people, they did seem a lot of people. I mean, obviously, I follow a lot of Spurs fans on Twitter, so maybe I had a little bit of a bias there. But yeah, it seemed to be a lot of people were actually were sort of supporting him.
Is it maybe just my bias as a Spurs fan coming through here, Brad? But when I was watching the game, like with other penalty takers, like almost any other penalty taker, I'm going to be honest, a lot of them, let's say, I do often think, oh, like, is he going to miss it? Like, is the keeper going to save it here? Maybe, like, what would that look like? In this case, I genuinely don't even think it crossed my mind that Harry Kane was going to miss. Like, I know, like, a lot of people might have been different with others, but I felt like just so confident. Like, after the way he did the first one, too, where he did that, a lot of people criticized him, like, taking that second moment, that second breather, right, to do it all over again. The way I saw that, I was like, that's class. Like, he took another moment to make sure that he was in the right headspace, and he absolutely buries it. And I sort of then, after the way he took the first one, was fully confident that he was going to score the second one, which was maybe strange of me, but I don't know where you stand. Where him scoring the first one made me more confident he was scoring the second one, like completely. Maybe not even think he was going to miss, actually.
The first penalty, I think the first penalty was one of the best penalties I've ever seen Harry take.
Yeah.
Just no way in the world were you saving that. He buried it. We see all these belly dance penalties where they do a little skip and the jumps and but this was not. He ran out and he belted it and that went in. I was a little bit surprised he went the same side, but then maybe it's he thinks I'm going to go that side, so I go to that side. But then he probably thinks I'm thinking he thinks that, and it's one of those sort of situations. So a little bit surprised, but no, it was just a horrible moment. I mean, obviously, as an England fan, it's a horrible moment because we're out of the World Cup. But for anyone who's a decent human being and appreciates good footballers, your heart just sunk because you knew this guy's going to get it now. Yeah. And if anyone's in the chat is going to the Brentford Spurs game because that's our first game back, you've got to shout, you've got to sing your hearts out for Harry Kane that day because he will get stick that day. He will get stick up and down the country. We have all said it before. We've seen it with other players before. You let your country down, all this sort of rubbish. So
I actually think it's important he scores against Brentford, because the longer we're back and the longer Kane goes without scoring, the more noise around it will be as affected because of the penalty from the World Cup, this, that, and the other. So I think it's actually of utmost importance that we try and get him on the score sheet in that Brentford game, just to kind of put that straight to bed,
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I mean, you can imagine if it had an injury time penalty for the winner at Brentford, that'd be like perfect. But it's you're right. It's right. And then, I just don't understand. All right, okay, we know that people on Twitter, some of them are school kids and they don't know any better. I'm talking as an elderly person, if you like. But you can understand. Okay, Suarez would have got a lot of stick. He bit someone. He handballed it to stop Ghana going through. So you can understand why Ghanaians would not like Suarez. But Harry Kane, apart from scoring, he's never done a thing wrong in his life from what I can see. He's never pictured falling out of pubs, out of bars. He has worked his way up to that position, been rejected that many times, gone on loan to so many clubs. He's kept going and kept going and kept going. He's a model professional. He does stuff for charity. He reads kids' stories. He's done so much for football and other things. I just don't get it that people seem to hate him.
I find it to be under the umbrella of that concept of he doesn't play for their favorite club, which is Chelsea, Man United, etc. Right? So he doesn't play for one of those sort of clubs. The other thing is that the fact that he is then also a Spurs player, a lot of those clubs just all, have romances or however how much they hate Spurs more than the other. Like, even the jokes were when Chelsea and Arsenal were playing each other that they would be holding hands the whole time, basically playing each other in their admiration for hating Spurs. And I think that kind of comes into the case here with Kane is that Kane misses that. People are upset with Kane and feel like they want to throw blame at Kane. But then him also being a Spurs player, I said to Dave, maybe sort of double whammies it, sadly, I think, for him, because then he just gets even more abuse and whatnot. And I don't know, maybe it's also because you brought up too, Brad, he's almost so nice of a guy. He's too likable. He doesn't really do anything wrong. There's almost like that maybe element as well, is that he is kind of the closest thing to kind of the perfect sort of role model striker England player. And that also maybe grinds people's gears, that he isn't in any way sort of like, you can't point to something that, makes him, like terrible or anything like that. They have to invent all these different reasons for why they don't like him. It seems like.
Do you know what that also is as well? Is because he's not doing stupid stuff on social media like some of them other players. All them other players who were stuff about, was being blasted of them all over social media. None of it came because he's concentrating on his football. That's why he doesn't have time to do that social media shit, So, and unfortunately, social media has a lot to play these days, expanding your profile, making you more likable, more sellable, more marketable, etc., etc., etc. So, because he's not wasting his time doing all these stupid little things like trying to roll a coin into trying to roll a coin into something stupid, all this stupid crap, because he's not doing that. That's why he gets the hate he does. But yet, players like Phil Foden got an opportunity, didn't take it. Other players off the bench that were getting opportunities didn't take it. But because they're doing all the social media stuff and coin rolls and all that sort of shit, they don't get the same hate, but no one will talk about them not turning up. The only one on the score sheet that night for England, Harry Kane, except that.
Exactly. And people, going back to what you said about social media, he hasn't even got an extravagant goal celebration. I mean, maybe
he doesn't do, or he doesn't even do this, or he doesn't.
Exactly, don't do all that, or any of this, have a little dance, or didn't go out Gary Southgate.
Doesn't have a TikTok dance.
I just don't get it. And you've even got sports in the media doing it as well. I mean, look, not that I ever watched GB News, but they got some idiot not GB News, Talk News. Talk News. Not that I ever watch it, but they got some idiot on there going on about saying that, it's because he supports all these causes and wanted to wear the rainbow armband. That's why he wasn't concentrating when he played for England. All this rubbish that's out there, absolute crap.
Do you think people have been waiting to pounce on him, Brad? Is that what it is? Do you think people have been waiting to pounce on him, like that sort of situation? Yeah, like it's sort of, I don't know, like the floodgates were opened. Maybe. Yeah,
there are people out there because they do that because they're in the public eye. They know that they're paid to be controversial, so they're controversial for controversial sake, basically. And I just think they're the scum of the earth, personally. But this is a guy, and I know in the chat there's been a lot of talk. Is he a legend? Does he have to win anything? Well, I think it's someone on We Are Tottenham TV. I was going through some tweets or something. Someone actually said, "Well, does Alan Shearer won the league title with Blackburn? Does that mean if Blackburn had never won the Premier League title, no one would ever know who Alan Shearer is? It's rubbish to say that. You got to win things. Jimmy Greaves, all right, he didn't actually play in the World Cup final. I think he eventually got a medal for it, but he won the European Cup, Winners' Cup, and an FA Cup in '67. So are we trying to say that Jimmy Greaves is not a legend? It's total rubbish. Harry Kane, the fact that he's about to become England's top goal scorer and Tottenham's top goal scorer against, and I'm privileged to say I've seen them both play, he's about to become Tottenham's biggest goal scorer. That's an amazing achievement when you see the person whose record he's beaten.
You're probably right about that sometimes players we maybe exaggerate like the whole like will they be remembered sort of thing. It's like, and they'll be very much remembered, like especially with the records that they've broken. It sort of just feels like people look at it as a resume, Brad, at the end of the career, and it's like they all just think at the end of their career they need to have some sort of trophy that they can.
He's obviously going to want to win something. Of course he is, but then that's just like us fans wanting to win. So I actually sort of thinking we've got two of the most emotional footballers out there in Sonny and Richarlison, and we got one of the most magnificent footballers in Harry Kane, all coming back. Not smiling. So Spurs, we have got to win something.
I hadn't thought about that.
These three players, if anything, we have got to win something for them. They just deserve it. We can't have these players unhappy. So it's.
I haven't thought about that actually. All three of those guys will be coming back. Actually, let's say with a few frowns on their faces, but hopefully we see them training outside Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, like that one man was running down Tottenham High Road, Brad, in the snow.
I'm trying to look for that. I don't know. Yeah.
That wasn't you, Brad, either? Where, we asked Dermot,
I wish it was. I was running around there in the middle of the night, yeah. Actually, I shouldn't say I wish it was, because I didn't actually know what he did. But If he's out in the snow getting fit, then yeah, that's good. Well done.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
Top man.
Legendary.
Conte, this Conte business. I personally think he's going to sign the contract. I think he's happy at Tottenham. And the other thing that people haven't mentioned is the fact that everyone's going, oh, he doesn't stay at clubs very long. The clubs he's left, he's actually won stuff with them. You know, Conte won all those things with Juventus, won with Chelsea, won with Inter Milan. And they're saying, and we all get told that one person will say he's a winner, will suddenly say, oh, he'll walk out. Well, if he's a winner, why is he going to walk out? You know, I don't think Conte's the sort of person that will walk out of a club without having achieved something with them. And this again, I think you said earlier, Dave, is that yeah, if he leaves, then we know that Levy and Enoch aren't backing any manager. So and if he stays, then we think, well, maybe they are going to back him. So yeah, I think it's going to be quite pivotal with our season, as it always was in January when we go. And I hope we go for sorry, I'm trying to think all these things I was thinking when I was in the chat. We're trying to go. I think we should go for a centre back. Definitely, I think that's our priority, because I watched, like everyone, watched the Motherwell game, and although it was against the 9th best team in Scotland, I thought Jed Spence looked the part for a right wing back.
Yeah,
he fits the Conte mold. Whether you say it was Conte signing or not, he's tall, he's athletic, he's quick, and he's skillful. And I thought he did enough. It's almost like he's sort of just trying out. I think he did enough. So I think a centre back is more important at this stage than a right wing back, because I think we've got a decent right wing back there. I really do. But will Conte plan well? I guess we'll see. I'm hoping, as I said last week, that he's used this World Cup to get him to grips with the system and that sort of thing.
Yeah. Would you just quickly, Brad, just 2 centre backs or a centre back and a right wing back? Where would you stand?
If Doherty can get the what he had last season, if he could get to that ability he had last season, and they play Spence, I think you've got 2 decent enough right wing backs to get to the end of the season. If there are other players that they want to spend their money on.
Sure.
So if they've got a set budget and it's, well, do we go for the 2 centre backs or centre back and a right wing? I go for the 2 centre backs, because I think that is the one area you get that area right. Because don't forget, wing backs in Conte system are used more of attacking, really. Yeah. So if you get that central defence area good, then you've got a lot bigger chance of winning stuff.
100%. It's absolutely crucial for me. I think you have that back line. Yeah, the amount of goals we score, you'll end up picking up a lot more 3 points, in my opinion. But Brad, what's going on at Blue Sofa Songs, my man?
Yeah, the Christmas song will be out hopefully this Friday. When I say Christmas song, it's just basically a song about Christmas. It's just basic sing-along sort of song, really. But yeah, I laid down the drum track today with various drum loops. That actually went very smoothly, which I found surprising. And a bit of a guitar track on it. So I've just got to put some extra guitar tracks, vocals. I've actually got to write the lyrics. They're only half written. And then maybe some little bits and pieces, little surprises maybe. Nice. And then I might try and record some sort of video clip where I've probably been miming to the song, that sort of thing. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. And I'm sort of looking forward to having a Christmas break, and then next year coming back and trying to improve it and trying to write better songs. And yeah, so thanks to everyone in the chat. You know who you are, that have supported me and subscribed to me, and just keep clicking that like. You as you say, the algorithms, it works and it puts it on other people's feed. One thing about TikTok, and this is really interesting, I put the song Freedom of Speech on TikTok, which is a Chinese based company, isn't it? It's China. And whereas Even Butterfly's song got 436 views overnight, literally, Freedom of Speech only got 1. And I was wondering it because the song was called Freedom of Speech, and it's a Chinese company that they thought I was writing about freedom of speech in China, and they blocked it. So that's interesting. Now I might even try
maybe
and
put a disclaimer. Maybe
I might try and put it on again under a different title and see what happens there. But yeah, very interesting. But yeah, thanks for everyone. Let's click like and subscribe, and if you haven't already, please do so. Hope you like what I'm doing. It's just basically some old duffer trying to play guitar, write songs and sing, but I'm enjoying it. And I think I've done some fairly good songs, some good, some bad, but have a look and see what you make of it. And click like and subscribe to these guys. Love your content. It's good to see you back. and anyone else that's got channels out there, because we're all a big community here, and it's just really, really nice. And it's I'll tell you what, I was on Bobby's show on Saturday night, and I've been on this show tonight. That takes away any blues that you might have from England, from my personal.
Man. Thank you, Brad.
Love it.
Thank you, Brad. Good to have you on here.
Well, Brad, big yourself up, my man. Appreciate you coming on. We'll speak against you.
No problems, guys.
Catch you soon, Brad.
See you, Brad. Big up, my
Love
man.
that.
Everybody get over to Blue Sofa Songs. Check it out. Give Brad a bit of support. Really, really nice guy. And he really, really appreciate it, guys. So get over there and check him out. Jacko, we've got a question from Phil for you. He says, I actually had your other one highlighted, Phil, so I really appreciate the support, my man. But he says, is Porro Conte signing? Not so sure.
Yeah, I'm not so sure either, but I don't know how much that will really actually matter. I think Pedro Porro probably will be good enough to probably impress Antonio Conte, whereas with the likes with Jet Spence, like we probably have said maybe in the past, we're not really sure of the whole picture behind the scenes there. It might actually be the case he doesn't really have that mentality that Conte might be looking for, might not actually be as tactically kind of adept as maybe other players, or really as tactically kind of flexible as others, might not really follow the instructions maybe as well as Conte likes, and all those sort of things. I think Pedro Porro could be one that might be a bit different in that. He plays for a Sporting side where they've been actually quite brilliant over the past few seasons under their manager. He plays for a very tactically smart manager. He plays a very unique position, has made that position kind of his own over at Sporting as well. I think there may be a lot of things that would suggest that he could fit into a Conte team. Is he a Conte signing? Not really sure, but I wouldn't say it's the worst kind of non-Conte signing, if you ask me. I think he'll fit in just fine if he were to come into Spurs.
Just be interesting about the height. If it doesn't happen, they've got to be 6 foot, so we'll wait and see, Phil. Pick yourself up, my man, and really appreciate the support. Let's keep this going. I believe we've got Elias on next. Let's get him on. Elias, how you keeping, my man?
I'm okay. Doing good, really.
Where do you want to take this? What do you want to talk about?
It's been fun teasing you guys with Dyer so far.
What are your thoughts on Joachim Andersen? He actually Phil brought up Joachim Andersen, right, in that part of the chat. Have you taken a look at Crystal Palace this season? Have you seen any of Joachim Andersen? Do you like Joachim Andersen, Elias?
No, I haven't. I haven't been following Crystal Palace recently, but we'll definitely check it out in the near future. Yeah.
No worries. And what do you kind of make of the current situation with Dave's kind of controversial take? Are you in the center back and right wing back camp? Are you in the two center backs camp for January? Where do you stand on it?
Okay, look, I'm not gonna give my sincere and honest opinion without any jokes or without any teasing. I personally feel, yes, I agree, Dyer is not good enough for our backline. Definitely, I agree with it. By all means, Dyer is not good enough. However, I believe that, yes, if you want to sell Dyer, you need to get 2 class center backs. You need to get like a one left-sided center back and one a central defender. If you can get those 2, yes, by all means, sell Dyer. But if you're only getting like one center back, then there's no point actually selling Dyer. You need to keep him as a backup option still. Because I still feel that even though let me
ask you this, Elias, right? Let me ask you this. If we know he's not good enough when he plays week in, week out, then what's the point of keeping him as a backup? Because we know he's not good enough when he steps in.
Because he's experienced. He's experienced. Experience.
I don't care how many experience you have. A good centre back doesn't head the ball back to Mo Salah in his part. A good centre back keeps his eye on the ball. Simple basics, control the ball. I don't care how much experience he has, but if he can't do the basics, what makes him good enough to stick around even as a backup?
I still feel that actually you need to keep up. Then you tell me, who would you keep as a backup instead if you don't want to keep Eric Dyer as a backup in that central defender role? I mean,
I don't want to keep any of them as backup because they've already proven to me, every single one of them, that they're not good enough. My point is we need to spend money on that position. That's why we need the upgrades.
So then you need 3 center backs. Then you can sell Dyer by all means. But if you are not willing to buy 3 center backs, then I feel that actually Dyer does deserve a point. That he does deserve to stay in the squad. Because I don't think that actually Dyer is any worse than Sanchez. Sanchez is worse. Seriously. I don't like Sanchez. It's my personal opinion.
I'm not going to sit here and argue with people over Dyer and Sanchez, who's better. I mean, it's a non-argument. They're bullshit.
Yeah, so I personally feel that if you are willing to, yes, really get rid of all the backline players, and yes, you are really willing to bring in like 3 or 4 new center backs, then by all means send Dyer away. But I think Dyer is still the better of the few other devils that we have in the backline. And I personally feel that yes, I agree. I agree with all of you who are there. It's just been a bit of fun teasing you all with Dyer, but I do agree that actually he's really not good enough for us, and we really need to replace him. But I personally feel that maybe just January window is not the right time. I don't think you can actually get class replacements at this stage to replace Dyer. So I don't really think that this is the right time. And regarding that contract extension situation, maybe I wouldn't sell Dyer. Perhaps maybe send him out on a loan. Let's see how he comes back. Yes,
He's 28.
That might-
It's too late to send him out on loan.
He's
Yeah, it's
28.
28. I think he is 28, probably. Like, you either
Yeah.
choose to sell him or you choose to
He's
keep him.
28.
You choose to sell him or you choose to keep him, I think is the case, probably.
But he's the kind of player, I mean, who doesn't really have the attitude problems and all that. Maybe he goes under a new manager, under a new system, learn a few things here and there, and then he may be able to contribute a bit back.
He's
It's
28
possible.
though. He's in his prime. He's not going to learn anything between 28 and 30. He should already. You said he was experienced a few minutes ago, so he should
Yeah,
already have that experience. If you're loaning him out, you treat him like a kid, but he's 28. The point
I
is, at
agree.
the end of the day, as Spurs fans, if we want to progress as a football club, we have to want better. We have to demand better. You can't sit here and accept these mistakes and make up these excuses going, oh, well, maybe we should loan him at 28. Maybe we should do this. Maybe we should do that. He's got a good attitude. I've said this before. A good attitude is the minimum I expect that players at Tottenham Hotspur. We should not be comparing it to the attitude that we had before, because the attitude that was there before with all the Welsh mafia, French mafia, it should never happen at a football club. You should never get yourself into that state. The bare minimum is having a good standard. I'm not going to keep a player because he doesn't bitch, moan, or cry. Guess why he doesn't? Because when he moves to Burnley, when he's finished, his wages are going to be cut in half. Of course he's not going to moan. If I knew I wasn't good enough to be there, I was being paid above what I think I deserved, of course I'm going to sit there and be a good little boy. But just because he's a good boy, it doesn't make him a good enough footballer. I'm sorry, but Tottenham's a football club. It's not a creche, especially for a 28-year-old. I bet his ma still fucking ties his laces.
Okay, I think let's move on from the D word conversation.
You brought it
But
up.
I don't. Okay, the summary is that I don't think that actually January window is the time that actually you can get rid of a player like Dyer at the moment, unless you are really willing to bring in the amount of signings that you need.
I think that's what the point is. The point is, Elias, is that a lot of people are in agreement that there needs to be a complete overhaul, and that complete overhaul includes Eric Dyer.
possible.
Whether that includes Eric Dyer this January and whether he's going this January, he's going to be going in the summer, and he's going to be going as soon as it is possible, basically.
Perhaps it could be summer. It could be summer,
but
but
to be a complete squad
could be
overhaul, and
summer.
there's no point in trying to find another reason for why he might, stick around. Basically, I think that's kind of where they stand, or at least Dave stands.
Yeah, Derek Smith, thanks for those stats. But I do feel that, yes, I think if Dyer cannot be at that level where we want to be, then yes, we would eventually need to sell him or send him somewhere. Because I don't know why, but I feel that we have problems selling players, as we have seen with Wings, with Tanguy.
Of course we do,
those
because
types
they're
of-
not as good as we make them out to be. That's why.
Yep.
Every single player, like we sit here, we go, nah, Winks, yeah, there's a player in there, 20 million. But that's because we want the guy to do well. People are always a good human being. They want him to succeed. But realistically, and I've said this a number of times, especially about Winks, and I'm going to say it about Dyer. Tell me what manager's going to sit across there and say, oh, I've got a leaky defense. I'm going to bring in Eric Dyer. Not going to happen. Same as when I said it about Winks. What manager across world football is going to say, I've got a problem in my midfield. Winks is the guy to sort it. The reason why we end up loaning out these players is because A, we pay them too much wages because we keep offering them new contracts when they don't deserve it. B, because we've paid over the odds on some of these idiots. And C, because they're nowhere near as good as outside the Spurs sphere as what we think, well, not me, but as what some people think they are. So then we go, oh, well, Paratici then he just can't sell the players. It's kind of like, well, I mean, it'd be handy if you actually had something complete to sell, which we don't. So that's why these players are getting loaned out, because no one's going to look at their team and say, oh, Jesus Christ. Especially at Tottenham's level, at the higher level. Maybe you might get it in the Championship and stuff like that, maybe. But no team in the Premier League, no team in La Liga, no team in the Italian League, German League are going to look at their problems and go, oh, Dyer's the answer, or oh, Winks is the answer. Not going to happen. We've got some of the lowest quality English players there is on the market.
Well, we shall see what happens in the
No,
summer.
we've already seen. We've already seen. It's not we shall see. We've already seen it.
Yeah, I mean, let's see what happens to Dyer in the future, but I don't think January window is still the solution for that sort of resetting of your entire backline. I mean, maybe you can get like one CB who can play either in the central defender role. I personally feel that yes, you really need one who can play in the central defender role at least to make Dyer rest on the bench a little bit and all that. And he only comes in when we don't have that particular CB that we have upgraded to come and play. And then we consider a situation again in summer. How is he like? And then whether we want to let him go and all that. But I personally feel that right now our problems are exactly. I agree with you that the problem is there at the center back situation. However, I do feel that we need to look into that right wing back situation as well. Really, you know
So
why?
you would get a center back and a right wing back then instead.
Right wing back as well.
January. And then
Yeah, you know
also,
why?
yeah.
Yeah,
Continue.
sorry, Jack, you finish.
No, yeah, continue.
Yeah, no, I personally feel that Romero, he has been good over that right center back role, but you know that he gets injured very often. I mean, Romero has had, I think, the worst record among all the injuries so far. Like he's the one who gets injured most often, and then we have to play someone like Sanchez in that right side. And when at the right side you have Sanchez and Emerson, it's very obvious that actually the opposition is trying to capitalize on those weaknesses in those areas, and that they are trying to create moves on that side, and they are the kind of players who can really not control it. So you need someone actually to come into the right wing back side. I wouldn't even mind that, let's say, if Conte thinks that yes, Jet Spence is the kind of player who can play there, I would take it. But if he says that, okay, Jet Spence is not the kind of player which matches tactics, which matches the kind of mentality he's looking for, or all the ABCDs that Conte needs to look in for a player, then I personally feel that he needs to upgrade that role as well. And I would actually take Pedro Porro, because Pedro Porro has played as a right winger, and he can also play as a right wing back and a right back as well. So he's that kind of flexible player who can play in few positions, like Ivan Perisic. He can play in both the roles, so he gives you that sort of flexibility and that versatility in terms of your rotational play. So I would take a player like him, and I think that he's the kind of signing that is a Conte kind of signing, because I feel that Conte tends to look at the kind of players who can play in like few positions or few roles, not just one designated role. Except that I feel he's pretty rigid with his center backs. He only plays like the right-footed center back on the right, and then the right one on the central. You never see, or you hardly see him playing a right-footed player on the left side when it comes to back three.
Yeah,
definitely.
100%. It was for me. Well, you play Starty over a left wing back when needs must. But no, yeah. I do get what you're saying. But Elias W is coming here to challenge you. She says, if we got two centre backs, we have Langley, so we don't need Dyer. So this three player isn't true. We need two and get rid of the others.
I have my concerns about Langley as well. He's not that consistent with his previous clubs as well. He has had that problem. I agree that yes, he has.
Let's take on what he's done at Tottenham though, not his previous clubs.
Right now, I don't think he has had enough time, or he has had enough minutes to really prove what kind of player he is. He has had some good time with us recently. He has been okay. But I mean, also, the fact of the matter is that also at times Dyer has also been good for us, and Sanchez has also been good for us. So I think
has Langley really made any of the mistakes that Eric Dyer has made?
Not yet. But in the past, he has. In the past, for Barcelona,
I'm talking about.
But again, for Spurs, yeah.
I don't care what he's done at Barcelona. I don't care what he's done at Tottenham. Has he made the errors that Eric Dyer has made?
Not yet, not yet. But you see, it's that kind of a fresh start for him. You're into a new club, and you're making that, you're into the fresh start. So
Maybe
you
that's
haven't.
what Eric Dyer needs, a fresh
But
start
then why
somewhere
do
else.
let me get this straight.
Yeah.
So then why do you make all the excuses you've made for Dyer, even send him on loan at 28? But then you're sitting here pulling down a player who, in my opinion, has actually improved that back line in terms of defensively and passing out from the back.
Because I have my. I do feel that Eddie Dyer is not that bad as people still think. He has made mistakes. Of course, he has made mistakes, but he is not that bad, guys, really. I
Running
mean,
off Callum Wilson, leaving him free, which then goes and scores the goal. Headering the ball back into Mo Salah's path. Turning his back on Trossard at the end of last season against Brighton. Miscontrolling the ball, it was against Frankfurt that led directly to a goal. And that's only off the top of my head, by the way. And there's more. There's a lot more. So how can Dyer not really be that bad? I mean, anyone that cost you 3, 6, 9, 12, nearly up to 15 points. I mean, that's atrocious. Single-handedly.
He has had some really good games as well. He has had some good times as well. It's not just about those mistakes, because as a central defender, it's a lot on your shoulder as well. You are that kind of player that, yes, if you are the last player that the strikers go through before they reach the goalkeeper, so it is that sort of pressure as well. And
Well, it's
not
important to have a good centre back then that's consistent every single week,
Yes,
every
exactly.
single minute of the game. Then, like, we can use this excuse that it's highlighted more, but he signed up for the role. He doesn't even use that excuse.
I don't know. He should. Let's move on from this conversation, because I have a few other things that I want to talk about.
I think we've actually spent a good amount of time on it, Elias.
I decided that I'm not going to talk about Dyer's situation. I was actually more concerned about the front three who are coming back from the World Cup with the massive disappointments they had in their national teams, and I wonder how are they actually gonna overcome this. And definitely, I'm concerned about actually Richarlison, Kane, and Son, because all three are coming with some big burdens off their shoulders, because they were the ones who were really carrying the expectations of their nation and all that. And I don't know how, like, do we have that? Do they even have that kind of time? Even because I was looking at it, the dates that they're coming back. Some of them are only coming back like 2 days before the friendly that we have with Nice on 21st, like on 19th. Do they even have the time to actually really go through that time with the sports psychologist and Spurs and all that to really process all these emotions and the feelings? And it would be interesting to see how we start off the game against Brentford, really.
Yeah, I think they probably are using this vacation that they're undergoing right now. I think Kane, Son, Richie, Højbjerg, Bentancur, but I think Højbjerg and Bentancur have already been, on some extensive vacations, if I'm not mistaken. So I think that's really the time for them to sort of probably take their mind off of things. I think that's really the whole point of them kind of taking those breaks, is for them to get their mind right, so that when they do come back to Spurs, their head is switched on the right way. If it isn't, and they do need more time, that might be well the case. But I think that is, sort of the whole point of them kind of taking these breaks once they're eliminated, is Kane gets right, a week, 2 weeks off, and then he can sort of be able to come back with the right sort of mindset, after a nice little vacation. It was the same thing with Antonio Conte. He's come back tanned, rejuvenated, re-energized after a time away as well. So I think it's pretty. You only have to wait and see. I think with some of these players, with Kane, Sonny, and Richie. I think more so maybe with Sonny, it's a bit more interesting, just because he could have used that World Cup to get some confidence back that maybe he didn't have. But I don't know. I think you can only wait and see. Elias, I think.
But I think he has a decent World Cup. I mean, the way he played for the country and all that, I think it was decent. Richarlison had a decent time while he was playing, and Kane, I mean, his goal contributions were really good, definitely, but the endings were full. And that's gonna hurt, really.
No worries.
Yeah, you'll hurt him for sure. Anyway, Elias, good chat, my man, but we may keep this moving, brother. Big yourself up and appreciate coming on.
How about just tell us who's going to win the medal then? Like Hotspur 82 is saying, down to Romero, Perisic, and Lloris. Who's bringing the medal down Hotspur way?
I would love for Romero to win the medal, because I'm a bit of a Messi fan as well. I don't like Ronaldo. Yeah, so I would love to see the medal going there, or I would love to see the medal going to Perisic. Yeah.
Nice. I like it. I think I'm in the same boat there. I think I'm in the exact same boat. Well, Elias, thanks for coming on, my friend. I think we tried to stay away from the dire one, but I think you somehow slipped into it in some way, or maybe you and
You can
Dave
blame
both
Dave for
slipped into
that.
it. It's some manner of short. But we'll get you on the next fan show, and we'll find some other good things to chat about as well. Big up, Elias. Appreciate you, my friend.
Come on, Spurs.
Come on,
you
Spurs.
Spurs. Big
See
up,
you, dude.
Elias. That was fun. He's got my blood boiling. He's turned me into Warzone Dave. Absolutely love it.
It's like he was saying, Dave, I'm not going to open the door. I'm not going to open the door. It's a bit of reverse psychology, I thought, kind of there between you two, kind of saying, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. And he did it, and he ended up opening that dire kind of a Pandora box. And there you go.
Love it. Michael, are you there, my man?
Oh, he did say he might have been going to the restroom, I think, for a quick sec, guys. I'm after.
Right, we'll get on the next guest then. We got to keep this moving.
We'll go. Michael, we're just going to push you right after the next guest. You'll be right after the next guest, my friend. You'll be right after the next guest. I believe we have after Michael, it's KPV time.
Let's get him on.
KPV, you there?
Hey.
Hello, lad.
You keeping well?
Yeah, keeping well.
We got the music going for you anyway, like you demanded.
Yay! Finally.
What happened though, Kyle? I mean, I thought you said it was coming home.
Oh my God, you have to bring that shit up.
Dave, you weren't supposed to bring it up, Dave. You weren't supposed to bring it up, Dave.
I know, but I heard at all competition it was coming home. What happened, Kyle?
I'm not going to get into this shit now because I'm still pissed. Referee still sucks. I don't want to see that ref again.
You're blaming the referees, even though you've got the star-studded squad. You're blaming it all on the ref.
Yeah, because the leading to the first French goal was a foul on Saka. It's a foul, clearly. I saw it. I was in the pub watching it, and Saka was fouled. The referee is just a bitch. I want to kill him. Like, I really want to kill him. The referee against Holland Argentina clearly had a bad day, and it's good he's been sent home because he will not be refereeing the semi-finals. So fuck the referees. They clearly need to have their eyes checked. So whoever this referee's name is from Saturday, fuck yourself, mate. Suck your mum. I'll kill you, mate. Everyone doesn't like you, French cunt. Suck it.
KPV, what would you say about the people maybe getting on to Harry Kane's back about the penalty miss?
Well, I don't like it. Like they said, Kane let the country down. Saka let the country down after years. They said Saka let the country down. What did we do after when Saka and Arsenal came to our new stadium in a pre-season friendly? We gave him a clap because he does not deserve abuse. Like, neither does Kane. And you saw happen after the Euros final. Some people sent Rashford, Sancho, and Saka some clown emojis on Instagram. Like, seriously, when are Facebook and Instagram going to sort this out? Like, just ban their accounts, suspend them. Like, they're going to try making new accounts, but just suspend them.
Here's the thing, though, KPV. When this happens, they're all going to be hurt, and they all automatically feel like they've let everybody down, this, that, and the other. There's no need to keep kicking them while they're down. I just don't agree with that. I think Kane will come back stronger. But look, you're clearly upset about the England coming home early, so I'll give you a pass. We'll move on to another topic. But newsflash, it's not coming home, Kyle. But what I will say to you, my man, is what do you think on the contract talks that are due to take place this week? What way do you think it's going to go? Do you think they can come to an agreement?
Well, Conte, get Conte to sign a contract because, as Mr. Daigle said, Conte will sign first, then Kane will. If Conte doesn't sign, then he's gone, and then Kane's gone. Conte signed first, then Kane does, and I said in the chat that the guy the D word who people don't want to mention, he signed a contract in 2020 under Jose. Dyer did. That's when he did, and he's now signing one under this guy who the Chelsea manager. He's already signed one, and 2 years ago, during the pandemic, he signed, and now he's signing one under Conte. Who
you agree with it?
Well, I have got one of our shirts with his name on the back from last season. The purple one is it? I don't know. why we won, I believe, one game. That was against Burnley in the Carabao Cup, and that's the shirt I've got. But I didn't want that for Christmas last year. I wanted the home one, but I wanted the home kit, not that shirt, because I was in Blackpool when we played Burnley in the Carabao Cup, so I couldn't watch because I didn't have Wi-Fi. But luckily, I managed to at least watch the highlights. But I was on hold for a week, but then I come back later, and what happened? We win our Saka code. We lost 3-0 to United, and I don't think I can't believe the fans being shouted, "We won't leave you out." That's probably but the reason why that Portuguese twat Nuno took Lucas off because it's not acceptable. The fans saying you don't know what you're doing. I like what they did. You do not take off the Amsterdam hero who got us to the Champions League final, and not.
What has he done since then, though, KPV?
Lucas or something.
Yeah.
I don't think he scored, but Lucas wants to go back to Brazil. Lucas did mention, I think a couple of weeks ago, months ago, that he wouldn't mind staying. He wants to, he came to us to win a trophy, but people think the Audi Cup in 2019 is a trophy. That's the pre-season. We always win one before the season starts, and that people think that's still not a trophy, but it is. And we just beat Rangers, I think, before the season started, and people still think that's not. And our rivals fans are saying that's not a trophy. When was the last time you won a European trophy, you gooners? So we were the first team to win one, and
KPV, you and I were chatting about, I think on a watch along or whatever it was, I believe you and I were saying how with Gabriel Jesus picking up that injury, it's good to kind of see, the Gooners, right? Getting a bit of our luck, because we had some bad luck with some injuries in the first part of the season. I hope they get kind of that same luck that we had. Because it was tough.
Jesus is out for 3 months. That is good. He's out for 3 months. So he's expected to miss the North London derby at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Hopefully, because he's not going to be back anyway, because people are saying he's only out for at least 6 games or something. Well, what are we saying now, Gooners? He hasn't scored since the North London derby, and if Kulu was in the Tottenham team during the game, he would have won that. But and as I said to people, Kulu's never lost the North London derby. So Thierry Henry didn't. But
did you get to see Kulu play against Motherwell at all, Kyle? Did you get to see him?
Friday, yeah. I watched it on Friday. I watched the Motherwell game on Spurs play, and as I said on the watch along Ben and Sim, I put the Irish Cafu with a double.
From left wing back as well. From left wing back.
Apparently people said that was not his first goal, but that's 4 now. He scored against Leeds and Newcastle Leeds, and now he's got 2 but Hotspur way, but he's only got 2 Premier League goals and 2 in Hotspur way, but he hasn't scored in the Premier League this season. Wow, only got 1 that was against Newcastle. Defenders getting on a score sheet. Tell me which club has had 3 defenders getting on a score sheet. None of them have. Only we have. So, those lot in it, down 7 Sisters Road had 2, but our defenders have got more than we sold Supian and Toby. I think we need a centre back, 2 centre backs, but Daigle and Daniel probably saying a right wing back. But I'd go for Buchanan because I was impressed with him against Belgium. Canada all over Belgium. I don't know why Canada didn't get a second penalty. The referees need to have their eyes checked. I was impressed with Canada. I was impressed. But the good news is I'm going to fly out there in 4 years' time in 2026 to watch the World Cup because it's in Canada, USA, and Mexico. But I'm going to Canada to watch. So I've got family there. Apparently, my dad said. So I can't wait to see Ben Simmons, Brian Daigle. That's going to be interesting. But we've got.
Hopefully, I'll be out there with you. Hopefully, Ireland make it.
I know you're probably still angry with Thierry Henry handballing it, 12 years ago. before
No,
the
I,
World Cup.
I forgive the French now. They done me a favour the other day. They're forgiven.
Now, Dave, you know what happened in 2006? They lost to Italy, and France lost to Switzerland at the Euros last 18 months ago. So, like, Mbappe missed a penalty. So, watch what happens Wednesday. Mbappe laughing, Kane missing. Let's see how you like it when you miss against Morocco. It does go penalties, but you ain't looking for redemption, Jack. You're getting your ass kicked. As the one said. So, Mbappe, let's see how you like it, you French prick. Laughing. And
The
people
three
got
lions going to come over to the USA and take on the Yanks. Going to embarrass the Yanks in the
Like,
USA. Kyle. Maybe we'll see
people-
Harry Kane go down a slip and slide, go down a Disney World
No,
slide.
he ain't going to slip like Stevie G did. Liverpool lost the title because Gerrard slipped, and people probably like they only won the league because of penalties. And like David said on the fan show after the Liverpool game last season at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, like where was Robertson when he was doing this and this?
Yeah. Where was he? Exactly, Kyle. Where was he? You know, absolutely love it.
I love that. And
But I was going to say, Kyle, we better keep this moving, my man, because we still got guests. But anything you want to end off on? And I mean, you were calling out Ben and Sim before the fan show even started. Anything you want to say?
like I just want to say to the people that are abusing Kane like they did with Saka, quit the moaning like he missed the penalty. Like, quit abusing, stop abusing. He could have scored the second, but like Rashford scores penalties. Like, maybe I don't understand why Rashford didn't come on. Like, Gareth could have bought med subs early, but decided not to. But stop abusing our best. Stop abusing the best striker. Like, he's Tottenham through and through. And like, you're not Spurs fans. Like he said, you're not an England fan. We don't want you. So go support somebody else. But stop abusing him because we've got Brentford. Because I said before, he hasn't scored against them. Only Son does. But like, yeah, I believe we beat them at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium last season. We won 2-0, and I thought Davis scored, but it came off the Brentford captain, Janssen, I think.
No, I think we drew with them at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
No, we won. No, we won 2-0. I was there. I saw Ben and Sim, and I was there. Like, you can watch their match day vlog from the 2-0 win. I'm on there, and I saw them. We won 2-0, and then we all know what happened a few months later in 2022. We drew 0-0, and I have to say I like Brian Daigle's one. He done it loud. Like, that's probably the best one. But if this happens again, like it already has, then it's probably going to come back again. But hopefully we can win at theirs because we have their number, and Son always seems to score. But Sissoko's one who actually scored as well to get to the Carabao Cup final last year. But yeah, and Tony thought he scored, but it was offside. So apparently could be suspended for betting or something. But like, hopefully then we can still smack them because we're their bogey team, and we've still got to play the champions at theirs because we have their number, and like we're still going to beat Brentford.
Yeah, we got to get warmed up for that North London derby, KPV, and get those 3 points against the Bees. Hopefully Harry Kane can go to that nice easy trip over to West London, smack up the Bees, come back over to North London, and get back on his snowy runs. KPV, who's winning the World Cup? Who's taking it home the Hotspur way? Last question. Is it going to be Lloris, Perisic, Romero? Who's taking it home the Hotspur way?
I wouldn't mind Perisic because we have Lloris who has already won it. So I wouldn't mind Lloris winning it. Like, we need another World Cup winner, not just him. But Croatia want to go one better. This is Modric's last World Cup. Like, I wouldn't mind Croatia winning it. I want Perisic, but Argentina, Messi hasn't won it, so why not? They won the Copa America last year, so I wouldn't mind Romero bringing it. But
all right, Perisic. Let's give it to Perisic. Let's have Perisic bring it home for Modric and for the other itches of past at Tottenham.
That in just a couple of hours' time on Tuesday, I'll be watching Perisic versus Romero. So another Tottenham derby, and Tottenham players going up against each other. But just before I go, I just actually want to say thank you to Neymar for describing Ronaldo as a legend. After, yeah, Neymar, nice and helpful. So cheers for that. And
Good
did
man.
anyone see the picture of Richarlison and Stone on Twitter? I
think
have to.
so.
It was
Yeah.
nice and helpful. So big up Richie, but like, yeah, hopefully it'll be Perisic or Romero. But as I said, I wouldn't mind Lloris becoming a two-time like world champion.
Yeah.
Hopefully France can't do a Brazil winning back to back. Like, no chance of France going to do a Brazil back to back World Cup. But I want to wish Pele speedy recovery, and I just want to say rest in peace to those 3 children who died today. But yeah, I want to
Kyle.
send them
Good man,
thoughts.
Kyle. Good man,
And
Kyle.
so,
Well, should we leave it there? Come on, you Spurs, and in Conte
yeah.
we trust, and I believe also as well. What's the other signs off, Kyle? What's the other way we sign off? Levy out, Daigle in. What else is there?
Well, yeah.
Levy out, Daigle in. What else is there?
Yeah.
KPV. I need a sign off. We need a KPV sign off here.
Like, you want to sign off? You got it. Like, and as always, Levy out. KPV, Brian Daigle, Bennett, Tim, Jack and Dave, and Mia in.
Come
There we
on.
go. All of us. Yeah. So,
Come on,
anyway, big
KPV.
up everyone. And I'll see you all Friday.
See you all
And
Friday.
come on, you Spurs. In Conte we trust.
Come on, you
Black
Spurs. In
Conte.
Conte we trust. Put KPV in, everybody. See you soon, KPV. We'll see you
Yeah,
soon,
man.
brother. Good man. Good man, everybody. KPV in, everybody. Daigle in, KPV in, Levy out. He was kind enough to put Dave and I in there as well. Good man, actually, to include us in the hierarchy there. Top man, KPV, and good chat as always. And Dave, I think definitely pushing him there on the England banter, and KPV is still a little sore right now. I think rightfully so. As a lot of England fans are still a little sore at this moment in time. Bottom Duda says, which center back would you like to see at Spurs? Someone you think will fit in Conte's system, someone who is good in the air as well. Give me a realistic pick. Bottom Duda, so many choices out there, but also I like kind of the way that you've sort of kind of confine this sort of kind of these players as well. It can't just be anybody. They have to fit into Conte's system. They have to be the one that can also be able to be good in the air, all that type of thing. So might as well bring in a guy that's been on the podcast before, someone who knows how to have these sort of conversations and like these sort of conversations. Bringing on Michael here. Michael, how we doing?
Hey, what's up? How you doing, Jack?
Bottom Duda here is asking me, which center back would you like to see at Spurs? Someone you think will fit in Conte's system, someone who's good in the air as well. We had an extensive conversation about Eric Dyer and all that, and we've been talking about the center backs that need to come in here. Do you feel like Indika, I don't know, anybody that's impressed you this tournament? Pavlovic actually kind of impressed me over at Serbia, big tall center back for them. But I don't know, it's been a strange one with the center backs this tournament. Piero Hincapié did look good too, but I don't know. It's been a weird one. Not as many players as really stuck out to me as I would have liked, Michael. But any center backs that you feel like can fit this bill that the bottom dude is putting out here?
Realistic or not?
It can, whatever you want. If you feel like Skriniar is realistic for maybe different reasons, then feel free to put it out there. But if there is somebody that you think that, I don't know, I think Indika is realistic. I think there are players like Simicon that are realistic. I think those are all realistic shouts, if you ask me. Gavardiol has probably proven to be the most world-class center back this whole tournament. He's been probably the best center back in the tournament. But I don't know. I think there's still players out there that can fit exactly what he's talking about. I would say, in fact, Simicon could be one of those. He looks pretty good in the air, pretty athletic as well. Could maybe play in the back three. He's played in a back three before. I don't know. Lots of options out there, Bob.
Yeah, like if you've put it on a scale from like 0 to 10, with Dyer is a 0, right? And Gvardiol is a 10. Like I'm seriously, I'm heterosexual, but the things I would do for Gvardiol would be, oh Jesus, this man makes me. I don't want to even go that way. But he's so good. He's just like, he's perfect, and he's so young.
Looked immense.
Right?
He's looked immense this tournament. He really has.
Yeah, like it's mad how good of a player he is, and unfortunately. Well, fortunately for him, because I think this guy will have an amazing career. I think that in like 15 years we'll be talking about him the same way we are talking about legends like Ramos or whoever else, right? I see so much potential in this guy. That's amazing, right? But in terms of like that's why I asked about realistic, because I think with his showing or during the World Cup, first of all, Leipzig will like milk the fuck out of anyone who tries to sign him. Like they have all the arguments that they can like present, right? He's putting master classes after master classes against some of the best attackers that he wasn't faced by playing against Brazil, right? I don't know if there is like more talented team in the world, and I'm talking about club football too, right? Brazil has so much talent that I think that there are only a few teams that are better than them. Like
I think he
I don't know.
single-handedly prevented so many goals from going in for Croatia. Belgium was a good game too, where they were actually all over the shop, that Croatian defense, but he just kept throwing his body in front of shots, in front of passes, and just making life that ever bit extra difficult that they sort of needed. What's funny about Guardiola, though, is I would say is that he's looked just as kind of aggressive too as like a Romero. He's exceptionally aggressive. He loves to step out. I feel like if we had him and Romero on either side, we'd be absolutely sorted. But I'm not even sure actually if Gavardiol would fit what we need in terms of a player through the middle.
No. I would take him on the left.
And so, is
I
there
think he's
somebody on my mind would still be Ndika over at Frankfurt, Simicon over at Leipzig. I think they're De Vrij, of course, has been thought about as a guy through the middle. It's kind of tough, but we do need somebody that can be able to be that more commanding presence. And I'm not sure Gavardiol is a commanding presence. Ironically, he is a commanding presence, but he doesn't seem to be the right sort of mold for maybe a central center back in that back three at this moment in time.
Yeah, for me, he fits the profile of a left-sided center back in the back three, right? Like especially because he is left-footed, that just solves a lot of issues for us. So yeah, that's also. I don't think that Gvardiol will move during this winter. I think that he will be transferred during the summer.
Yeah.
But as I said, he's on such a pedestal right now that I think that the best clubs out there will be fighting for him, which I don't think that we can compete with either financially or status wise. Because when even if we matched someone's offer, like let's say we bid for him, Chelsea and Real Madrid, for example, right? The Chelsea can offer way more money in terms of wages, right? And Real Madrid have the status and also have the money, right? But they are the best team in the world, undoubtedly the best team in the world, right? Whether they need Guardiola or not is a different thing, because I think that their defense is quite sorted. But yeah, I just as an example. But realistically, I think that listen, I've been listening to a couple of shows recently, right? And like the topic of the last summer window came around, and there have been plenty of people saying this, and I also am like subscribing to this, that if our target was Bastoni and Guardiol and we didn't manage to get them, I think there is such a wide spectrum between like Davies and Guardiol of center backs who are good enough for what we want, right? It doesn't have to be Bastoni or Guardiol. I would love
Here's
it
the
to
thing,
be,
though,
right?
Michael. Here's
But
the thing. Like
yeah,
everyone also always says, "I'm sick of getting these in between players. Go out and get your first choice target."
Yeah. But listen, I'm saying this because I'm not saying that we should be getting like I don't know, Middlesbrough left center back, but on a permanent deal. That's not what I'm meaning, right? I think that there are players. Like, listen, you can have your first choice target, right? My first choice target as a Sony replacement can be Mbappe, but we are never getting him, right? So I know that's a ridiculous example, right? But what I mean is that, listen, this for me, this defense of ours is so bad that probably because we offset the fixing of it during last summer means that probably this year we will struggle. We will struggle a lot, right? Not without a reason. We are talking about bringing two center backs in the winter, right? Because we know that that this defense needs fixing, right? And let's be honest, we aren't getting Gvardiol and Bastoni in the winter, so should we go for a stopgap again? Should we consider a permanent deal for some of the
Here's where I'm at with it, Michael.
Yeah.
First of all, as a fan base, we need to establish what we want, because we can't sit
Yep.
here and criticize the club for not going for the first choice target and say we're sick of bringing in these intermediaries. But then because it's so bad, now all of a sudden we're talking about intermediaries. It's kind of like, what do we want as a fan base? You can't throw at the club, never go for the first choice targets. If you want the player, go and get him this, that, and the other, and then say, oh well, we could have done something. It's like, you either want the club to wait for you get the first choice target, which means if you have to wait, you have to wait. Or you want an intermediary. You can't just have both.
Yeah, listen, if you could, I really don't like the argument of, if you want a player, just go there and slap the cash, because there are so many things when it comes to transfers, right? It's not only about clubs making an agreement, right? It's also about the club and the player. It's also about the player wanting to live in England, wanting to move his family to England. Maybe the salary isn't okay. Maybe something else isn't okay. Maybe he doesn't take Perisic for some. I think that they are friends, actually, Perisic and Gvardiol, or friends, colleagues, right? But there are so many things that you have to take into consideration, that I never got mad at our club that we didn't get Bastoni or Gvardiol, because sometimes you just can't make the transfer, right? It's not only about the cash. I know that our club has a history of undervaluing players from other teams, and going with a 45 million bid for Skriniar when they wanted 55, right, or whatever it was, whatever the money was, right? And probably if we splashed 10 million more, we would probably have I dare to say world class center back among our back three, right? But we didn't. So but that's why I'm saying I never criticized them for not getting the first choice target. I just think that the second choice, if he's just slightly worse than the first choice, I don't mind going for the second choice, right? I think that the level that you go from when you upgrade Dyer and Davies to, I don't know, let's say Hincapi and De Vrij, let's say just those two. I'm not saying about Skriniar and Gvardiol, right? Those two would be Skriniar, Gvardiol, and Romero. That's the best defense in the world, and you cannot change my mind, right? But as I said, upgrading Davies and Dyer to Hincapi and De Vrij, or I don't know, Ndika and whoever else in the middle, Andersen, let's say, right? It's such a jump from 0 to 9 instead of 0 from 10. It's still a massive jump for me. So that's why I think, coming back to the question about that the bottom Duta said, right, about the center back, and I will answer about Kivior in a second, right? But my dream signing would be Gvardiol, but I'm confident that we aren't going to get him. That's why I think we should go for that a level below, right? Yeah, and it's nothing bad for me. You just sometimes have to
I'm
accept that you can't get the best of the best, right? Because you have to understand, as I said again, if you want to get Gvardiol, we'll compete against Real Madrid, Chelsea, City, those clubs, and those clubs can offer, each and every one of these clubs can either offer more money or are more prestigious than us. That's the sad reality, right? So
I'm in agreement there. I'm more desperate also, like maybe Dave is here, but I'm also kind of as desperate that I just sort of feel like almost anything is a dramatic improvement on what we have at this moment in time. So I almost feel like I personally can't be too picky right now, because I think anything would be a huge improvement. We've seen what Longley has been able to do, and he wasn't really supposed to be as influential, I think, to that back three as he, I guess, has been this season, or even be nearly as one of the more reliable ones as he has been. And so that just shows, maybe if you did bring in a theirishyid, if you did bring in a Simicon or something like that, that might be exactly what this defense needs. Maybe it's not Gvardiol, but it's something that still is going to be a huge impact on this team and will still send shockwaves or whatever it is, ripple effect through the whole team, and improve the most out of Antonio Conte. Jakub Kivior, did I say it right?
Yeah. That actually, the funny thing is that this is probably one of the easiest Polish surnames that you could find in our team, and I still see like pretty much every English-speaking YouTuber say Kiwior, because the W in English is read as an like with
V as in
sound or
violin,
whatever, right?
yeah.
But
Yeah.
in Polish, it's read as V, so it's Kiwior, right? And yeah, listen, guys, I don't think he's good enough. And listen, I would love for us to have a Polish player. We spoke about it, right? It's for a like nation who doesn't produce good footballers. If your favorite team, which is the top team in Europe, gets a player from your nation, it's so fulfilling you with hope, right? But I think that it's first of all it's too big of a jump for him. Frankly speaking, I don't even remember which team he plays for in Serie A. I think it's Spezia, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, you're right.
Right? I think it's Spezia. Yeah, I think that he kind of fits the left-sided center back profile that we are searching for. He's left-footed and he's really good playing with the ball. He has nice ping on him. I think that he distributes the ball effectively. I just feel like he's not good enough, and I hope not good enough yet for our level, right? He's still young, he can develop, but I think that the pressure of jumping from Spezia to Tottenham and being expected to like changing your expectations from staying in Serie A or whatever. I hope I didn't offend Spezia fans, but I think that they aren't like the middle of the pack team. They are like near the bottom half, right? So changing your expectations from staying in Serie A to competing in Champions League and for Champions League, that's too big of a jump for a guy like him. I also feel like there is he has an issue, like many center backs do have an issue with it, but he has big issues with players running past him. I think he's slow to turn and he isn't really pacey, which might prove
Not good for the Premier League.
not good enough for the Premier League. And as I said, I hope that he develops. I would love it if we signed him if he is good enough, right? But to be honest, I know this also won't happen, but I think that like the best profile, the best position that Poland produces players for is goalkeepers. So, and I think there is plenty of Polish young goalkeepers out there on the market. I know that David is sold on the Southampton goalkeeper, Irish one, and I'm in a similar boat with Polish goalkeepers. I would love us to have a Polish goalkeeper. I don't think it will happen, but yeah, like
there you are, the bottom dude. Maybe Jakub Kiwior is not exactly the right, or maybe isn't capable of making that step up, like kind of Michael said. For the time being, needs a bit more development. I would say there are a lot of center backs that we've seen that looked good this tournament, but I don't know if they're exactly going to fit the sort of center back that we need. I think Hincapié would play left-sided center back. Not sure if we need that right now in this moment in time. It's like trying to find the right player that can play through the middle. Even Upamecano, who I actually thought looked good this tournament, looked atrocious against Harry Kane. Like just got outsmarted, outplayed in so many ways. So even center backs that we thought probably were having good seasons still can be, capable of absolute howlers. So it's a tricky one figuring out the center back position.
Yeah, I also don't think Bayern would sell Upamecano.
But just a good example of like even maybe that's the risk of even buying, against my own argument, maybe the risk of even buying a Simicon is that he could end up being like an Upamecano where he's like inconsistent and sort of like can be outsmarted by other players. You never know. It sort of is a tricky situation. I still feel like anything will be a dramatic improvement though. So I don't know. I'm desperate for something. Yeah,
same. I am desperate for improvements in the center back position, right? But also to challenge David a bit, because David, you said that you think that we could suffice with the right wing backs we have currently at our team, and I know it will be a huge struggle to like do any changes there, right? Because we have 3 players and we don't want 2 of them, and the third one isn't getting any chances, right? But I think whereas on the left we have Perisic, who is quality, and we have Sessegnon, who is shit, but he will suffice as a backup, and we have Udoji coming, right? So let's say that the left side is kind of sorted. Whereas on the right, I think that unfortunately we need an improvement. And this is mad because when you look at this team, we need a Kulu backup, we need an attacking midfielder, we need a right wing back, we need preferably 2 center backs, we need a goalkeeper. You cannot solve this in January alone, right? So I get what you mean. It's just that I would probably even though I just slated Davies and Dyer, I think I would prefer us to go for a central center back and right wing back. But if we went for 2 center backs, I completely wouldn't mind. I just want to see changes in that back five. I don't want to see us at the end of January. I don't want to see a back five of Dyer, Davies, Romero, Perisic, and Royal. That's unacceptable for me. Someone has to change in that back five, and it's not Perisic and Romero, right? So you have to change the other three.
See,
At least
for
one,
me,
at least one of them.
For me, where I'm at with it, Michael, right? I look at the right wing back. It doesn't actually directly cost us goals whatsoever.
Yep.
Right? Now, what's the point of bringing in a guy that's because if we're going by what people criticize the right wing backs for and what they want from them in a Conte formation, is a player going forward, right? But like, we score goals at Tottenham, and this is what I keep saying. I go back to my point that I made last summer. Scoring goals at Tottenham is not a problem.
Yep.
Keeping them out of the back of the net is. And by signing a right wing back and maybe not bringing in a centre back, what good is that going to do? Because you're still in the same position of having to score 3-4 goals every single game just to try and get a point or 3 points.
Yep.
And it's not sustainable. So what you do is you plug up that back line and you make do with the right wing back situation until the summer, because when you have Kulu there, you have a way around it. What backup plan do you have a way around to make Dyer more stable? There is none.
No backup plan.
There's none whatsoever. and for me, look, I get what you're saying, but if people think it's going to be easy to offload Doherty or Emerson, think again, and they may say, well, loan off Jed Spence, bring someone else in here, but don't forget about the English quota that's attached to him. Not quite easy as many people think, and that's why I reckon, or that's why I would say, if it comes down to having to pick priorities, for me, I think you can limp across the line with the right wing back situation. Don't agree with limping across the line, but I think we're going to be in that situation. But for me, I would much rather change a guy at centre back that's costing me goals every single week, rather than a guy that loses the ball in the final third.
The
guy that loses the ball closer to your goal is more in danger than the guy that loses it in the final third.
Yeah, that's why I said that one centre back has to come in. And whether the second defense signing is a second center back or a right wing back, I don't really mind both. But one center back has to come in and displace Dyer as a starting center back. I don't care. This guy cannot be our starting center back. As I think Elias said, I think that we won't sell him in January. I don't think that's possible. So we will have to make do with him until the summer, at least as a backup option, right? But I want this guy gone from the starting 11. I don't want to see in February. I don't want to see Dyer as a starting center back in our team. That's just my wish for this transfer window. Even if you don't get an attacking mid, I won't really mind. Even if you don't get a Kulu backup, I will mind a bit, but that's not the end of the world. If
I would
we
even
don't get
suggest a right-sided centre back though as well, a specialist that can play on the right. If I'm being brutally honest, because
and move Romero to the centre,
I do think you'll see Romero show up for the second half of the season. It'd be similar to last season. First half he was a bit all over the place. Second half of the season, without a shadow of a doubt, by far our best centre back. I do think you'll see the same again, but I also don't want to run that risk, and I can't have Sanchez coming in. So for me, I think we've got to do a lot more across that back line than what most people give it credit for, because by bringing in a Dyer or a Sanchez or even a Davies on the ball, okay, defensively he's all right, but on the ball he's not good enough. By bringing them in, you're only going to revert to type, and it's still going to ruin the momentum if we do build up some momentum with the first 11 playing. As soon as they come in, they're going to ruin the momentum, and then the results will start being inconsistent again. So for me, you've got to seriously put money at that, flood out the weak links, get in better guys so that we can push forward and progress as a club. Because if we improve that back line, it automatically turns us into hard to beat, which then will replicate into points. Points will replicate into being higher up the league and challenge for trophies. There's a massive knock-on effect from addressing that back line, because even the players that we have to step in are shit. Look at the players that stepped in against Bournemouth. They were useless. Absolutely useless. So for me, I don't want to see any of them anymore. They're too costly, not sentimental towards them. You're shit. Get out, put the money there. It's the only position on the pitch that we've neglected.
Yeah, it's the same thing for me. It's as I said, it's the top priority for me in the winter. is fixing the backline. I don't really, as I said, I don't really mind if it's X player or Y player. I just don't want to see a stopgap, like a a second division center back for 1 million to just patch the list or whatever, right? I just want to see some quality. It doesn't have to be top quality because I don't think that we can compete financially and status wise for the top players. But listen, if you look at it, there are like, let's say, 8 clubs, in my opinion, in world who are the top elite level. It's like Real, Barca, City, Liverpool, all those guys. And I think there is the second tier just below them, which is probably, and I don't want to like upset any fans of other clubs, but it's like Borussia Dortmund or I don't know, Marseille, Lyon, Tottenham, Arsenal, even though they are a bigger club in terms of trophies and status compared to Tottenham. I know it's mad to say that on a Spurs channel, right? But in terms of like recent success and how good the club is, I think that we are in the same like mold. And it's also like some other clubs in Italy, like Napoli or whatever. We are in that second tier just below. We are good enough to compete with the top. But when a club like us and a club from that top 8 or whatever, 8, 9, 10, 7, whatever it is, clubs, comes for a player, the player will choose to play for that club. It's obvious for me. Even I think that even if we matched like an offer from Real Madrid, it's obvious that the player will choose Real Madrid over us, right? Because it's Real Madrid. It's a dream to play for Real, wherever, whoever you are, from whichever country you are, right? It doesn't have to be only Latino players from Latin America and South America going to Barca, because that's the obvious way for them, right? But like I think that Guardiola himself came out and said that playing for Real Madrid is his dream, right? So, as I said, I don't think we have to compete for the top player, but a level below a player, maybe a punt on a younger player like
can still be
Simikan,
really
who is
successful with
still
that.
really good,
Yeah.
but he isn't that top quality player, but can turn into a top quality player, just like Sonny did, right? When we bought Sonny, he wasn't the top, one of the best left wingers in the world, right? We turned him, and he himself turned himself into a top class left winger,
The
right?
problem is there though, Michael. We had time to develop some. This centre back would be thrown straight into first team action.
Yeah, like listen, it's tough situation that we have at Spurs currently. It's the easiest way would be to throw money at it, a lot of money at it. As you guys said, it's as we established, it's not fixable in one window, especially not in one winter window. We will have to deal with some players that we don't really want to see in this club, but it's impossible to fix that team in one winter window. So we'll have to give it time. And that's also why I think that, listen, I am full of hope, but I cannot be sure. But as I said, I'm full of hope that Conte signs the contract, because that fixes so many issues that we have with
Takes so much
our
pressure off.
doubts. With our doubts over the future of the club, right? Because if our club convinces Conte to sign the contract, that means that they had to convince him with concrete offers, right? They had to tell him, we will fix X, we will bring you player of that type, right? Not necessarily a concrete name, because as we've seen, we wanted Bastoni, he didn't want to come to us like tough luck, right? You have to deal with it. But I think that if Conte signs, it also like takes the mind of the players from that, right? They can know that they can focus on the league, they can focus on playing under that manager and developing under him. There is also an argument of like other players coming to Tottenham and saying like who will be the manager in the next summer, and we right now can say we don't know, right? Because Conte hasn't signed a contract. But if he signs, then we can say Antonio Conte is the manager of this club for at least 2-3 years. It can convince a player to come to us, to even to develop in our team and move on, right? That can also happen. But it solves so much shit. It's so important, and I am, as I said, I am full of hope that we will manage to convince Conte to stay with us, right?
We have to. We have to. It's imperative to do everything we're doing going forward. You know, in terms of what you do in the transfer market, what's the philosophy, what's the plan. You know, so we have to make him. We have to convince him to sign on. But look, Michael, we still got a couple of guests left. Big yourself up, my man. Really enjoyed that conversation.
David, just 15 seconds, I promise. To all fans who are abusing Kane online, English fans, you fucking deserve it. You fucking deserve that you got knocked out of the World Cup. To other England fans who are supportive and who understand that things happen in football, I feel bad for you guys. I think that you played better than France and you probably deserve to go through, right? To all the dumb idiots who abuse him, who like send shit like Brad was talking about, right? You fucking deserve it. That's why like most of the world doesn't like you and your team. That's exactly why, right? Because Lewandowski missed a penalty during this World Cup, and pretty much nobody here said for him to hang himself or whatever, right? You have to support your players. So all of you deserve it. All of you dump asses who abuse players online. And it's not only about Kane, about all other players. When Stevie Bergwijn was getting abused after the Liverpool game, you fucking deserve to lose that game. You as a Spurs fan deserve that loss. And you England fans who abuse Kane, tell him to off himself or whatever, you deserve that. That's my opinion, right? For all the others, I think England play better than France and they should go through. But it's tough luck. It's football, right?
Absolutely, Michael.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
I don't mind that.
Yeah.
Alrighty, Michael.
You,
well, we'll
boys.
catch you on the channel soon, my man. And thanks for coming on. And hopefully we get the fan shows, like we said before, on more regular schedules, so we get more chances for you to come on and have your say. But Michael, thanks for your patience as well, my friend.
Yeah.
See you,
Bye,
Mike.
guys. Pleasure
Catch you, brother.
you.
See you, Michael.
Pick yourself up. Really enjoyed that conversation over centre backs, to be honest with you. I love taking it in. Love when you and Michael nerd out on names and stuff like that. It's good. Look, let's keep it moving.
Time for Paul. Long time no see, Paul. Looking forward to this one.
Can't wait for this. I like this guy.
Hey.
Hello, folks. How you going?
You keeping well, my man?
Good, man. Yeah. I'm a bit sleep deprived because of the World Cup at the moment, so my brain's a bit foggy, but hopefully you might get some sense out of me. We'll see how we go, eh?
Were you in the square a few times?
Huh? What?
Sorry, Jack, you go first.
Were you caught in the square a few times for those 3 a.m. watch-alongs in Melbourne Square or anything like that? I've heard there were some huge watch-alongs for...
No, well, unfortunately, Sydney didn't really get its act together until the Australia-Argentina game, so I've just been watching it really with friends and at home.
So you're having a good time.
What do you make of how he's done at the tournament?
I think the team plays in the image of the manager, basically, and I don't think Southgate's got it, really. That's what it comes down to. I mean, all the Harry Kane stuff. Say if Harry Kane had got that penalty, would England still have gone on to beat France?
I don't think so. And then we probably would have lost to Morocco in the semi-finals. So, I think like Michael raised a good point. Lewandowski didn't get any heat for missing a penalty. I don't think Kane should. Sorry? Hasn't Messi not missed a penalty this tournament as well?
Yeah, he has. Yeah.
He lost. He says Szczesny saved his penalty. I think it wasn't it, right? I think it was.
You're going to get 9 penalties out of 10. You're going to miss one wherever it is, It does happen.
It happens. Just quickly, Jason Bell, he says, well said, Michael. Big up, Jason Bell. Good to see you. I hope you're keeping well, my man. I really do. Big yourself up and really appreciate the support. It was funny. But look, Paul, long time no talk about a great club. First of all, you have a jersey that I've been looking for everywhere. Really like it. Really nice jersey. Adidas one as well. You're like me, prefer the retros. But look, where do you want to start with this? Because we haven't spoken in a long time, so there's so many things that you can bring up. So where do you want to start?
Well, you know what? Let's get on to Eric Dyer, eh? So I don't like being negative about anyone that puts a Tottenham shirt on, but fuck that guy. I mean, seriously. I just like, especially when you see a lineup and it's got Dyer and Sanchez in, you just know, okay, well that's 3 points gone, isn't it? You imagine being Bentancur, who at times this season has played absolutely brilliantly and he's got goals on him. He likes getting forward, but especially in the first half of games, he's having to look over his shoulder, see that dog shit behind him. And so Bentancur comes back and it kind of disrupts the whole flow of the team. I remember one game, David, where I think it might have been against Nottingham Forest. And it was one of the Forest goals. And you were saying, where is Eric Dyer? And I can tell you where Eric Dyer was because I was watching the bastard. He went on a Maradona-like run up the middle of the pitch. Play fizzled out. I think Sessegnon lost the ball. It wasn't really Sessegnon's fault. But Eric Dyer had spent all the gas in his tank getting up the other end of the pitch. He was strolling back.
Remember this? He was actually, I remember this because I went back and watched it after Paul, and I was furious because when I went back and watched it, he was on the ground rolling around crying about his finger because obviously he hurt his finger. I'm sitting there, I'm like, I mean, I've watched players who've gone through the pain, you know, got back into position, wait for the ball to move, but this guy's rolling around crying about his finger. Is that a guy that's willing to go that extra mile, go through that pain barrier that you expect of a player that's representing your football club? I didn't see it, but I know exactly what moment you're talking about because when I asked that question, I went back after to see where he was, and that was my findings.
Nowhere. And like as a centre-back, you know, okay, you can go on a little excursion up the pitch, but if the other team get the ball, you've only got one place to go, and that's right back. Immediately. Don't even look, just get back. Not, I hurt my finger.
Joke. It's an absolute joke. There's just so many things. So many things.
The other one that gets me with him, and he did it so many times, man, he would just chest the ball down to the opposing centre-forward, and then get the shits with the rest of the defence. Like, well, where were you guys? Like, it's their fault.
He is a guy that likes to, let's be honest, like, even if you were Eric Dyer's biggest fan, you would have to admit that there have been some times this season where you have caught him throwing his arms up in the air, putting on some gross face of, like, disgust, when the only person he should be doing that to is himself, Paul.
I
don't like people like that. People who refuse to take blame, people, especially in the moment, and they know they fucked up, and they point at other people in that moment. It does say a bit about you, kind of, I think, as a sportsman. It says to you as like what type of teammate you are, that type of thing.
I just don't think he is the ticker for it. I remember that time where he ran into the ground because some fans were saying something. I mean, come on, man. You're gonna like if you can't handle that, don't play football. You know.
I get going to protect his brother, but I think I actually said this at the time. I think he's missing the point. If he had a good game, well, then his family members wouldn't have to accept it. You know what I mean? The proof is in the answer is right in front of him. Just play well. Like most centre backs, I think King Hodler, who says it here? Someone says it there in the chat. You can only probably pick out 4 or 5 really high profile errors they've made over the course of a career. Not 4 from one season.
Like if I go back and I think of the likes of like Graham Roberts and Paul Miller, who not only didn't make mistakes, they were tough players, but their disciplinary record was immense. It's like 1 yellow card and 1 red, or so. I mean, I know you had to basically bite someone's bollocks off in a match to get a red card back in the day, but you know, it was still you would trust them. You would trust them. And now we've got Bentancur, Basuma, Højbjerg looking over their shoulders and seeing that just what the fuck is going on back there. So if you're talking about signings, it's got to like if Spurs want a challenge for big, they've got to go Gvardiol. That's it. I mean, he's clearly the number 1 centre back in this World Cup, and he's playing with half a face.
What do you make of maybe the argument that Michael was making? And look, Jack has made the argument. Jack has pitched it to me as well, and I can see where they're coming from. Like, look. First of all, at least the guys want improvement. That's the main thing. They're not oblivious. They know we need improvement, which is fantastic. What do you make of the oblivious of maybe bringing in someone that's maybe, I wouldn't say stopgap, I don't think that's what they're saying, but they're saying someone that maybe isn't a Gvardiol, but maybe just a little bit, maybe in reputation-wise.
Not top shelf, something below top shelf, you could say.
Yeah, look, I mean, that can work because, you know, team sport's a weird old thing. Sometimes it's just where, you know, once you get to that 51% of talent, everything clicks in and it starts humming like a well-oiled machine. You know, we don't know because we've got diabolical at the back. So, you know, an improvement on him might start Spurs firing off. But, you know, did Liverpool go for a second-tier defender when they were going for...
they haven't had to replace Van Dijk, right?
Van Dijk. And you saw the difference that Van Dijk made to that Liverpool team. It changed them from top 4 to title, you know, contenders, Champions League contenders.
If we had also in a similar position with us, where they were conceding 3-4 goals some weeks. So I remember them having to beat Bournemouth 4-3 and other games like that. But as soon as they brought in Van Dijk and then Alisson, boom, stopped.
Yeah, I think if we want to compete big, then I don't care how much you put. I would rather in the January transfer window we blow all our dough on Guardiola. That's it. 150 million. I don't give a shit. Just buy that one guy. He would make the biggest difference to the team. More than a right back or wing back or anything like that. We can fix that up later. And who knows? Like, you remember when, you know, last year even, I mean, it was a long time ago and he hasn't done much since, but Doherty started firing. You know, if we've got a super solid back line or back three, which I'm with you, David, this back three, man, it's like, I don't know if you ever had a threesome, but I just found it very confusing. I didn't really enjoy the experience. But when you've just got two working in a partnership, you know, they can figure out, like, a lot of the time, in fairness to Eric Dyer, when you're playing with two other people in the same kind of area of the pitch, you're not going to have that immediate of understanding of where the other two are. Whereas if it's one guy, same with two centre forwards, you know, you start building up all this, almost a psychic link with these players. You just know where they're going. But if you're going to play it with a back three, then they need to be really good. Yeah, they can't be average, man. It's got to be Bastoni.
Even as a two, they have to be really good, you know, because look, my argument with the three is you're bringing in an extra player to protect that back line, basically, because they're not good enough to play in the two, which we've seen with Eric Dyer. Even him and Sanchez couldn't form a two, you know. And now so for me, it's just literally, you, like Paul, I keep saying this, you've got defenders, they play in any system. Simple as that. If you've got average players, the system makes them look good. And outside of that system, that's when they start looking average. Like a Dele Alli, specialised position in a Pochettino team. Since he stopped warranting that special position and that no longer was everything was being catered to him, he was soon sought out and shown up as an average player.
Yeah.
And you can't even expect the wing backs to do their job when you've got shit in the middle as well. Yeah. You know, I mean, you've got Royale or Sessegnon or whatever, and this. I mean, I've heard equal criticism. Sometimes I hear they're not very good in defence or they're not very good going forward. But you know, maybe we don't know because they always have to they always have to try and stop the other team scoring at some point because they can't get forward.
Not only that, but when they do make runs forward, you have Moonhead demanding they come 5 yards beside him. Like, he's like looking at them. No, I want you here to.
You get a light bulb, Dave.
Dude, this is another Eric Dyer thing. And like I say, I don't like criticising players, and I probably won't do it the rest of the season. I'll try not to. But that guy, the number of fucking hospital passes he does, you know, he doesn't know what to do with the ball. He gets the ball. Because I can remember, you know, when Terry Fenwick played for Spurs, and it was, you know, goalkeeper to Fenwick. Fenwick could bounce it up into the midfield. Midfielders would have a battle, right? Eric Dyer gets the ball. He passes it to the player closest to him every fucking time. Yep. You know, unless he does one of his long balls, which is like in the last 20 minutes. Yeah. And the player that receives the ball has got they can't do anything. They have to give it back to Eric Dyer.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a job.
So how's that progressing play? How's that scaring the other team?
We're talking about a guy that's a centre midfielder, and by his words, he wanted to be a centre midfielder. He doesn't even want to be a centre back. If anyone goes back and watches the documentary, Jose Mourinho said it to him about being a centre back. Pochettino actually wanted to convert Dyer to a centre back, and he said, "No, I want to play midfield." When he realised he couldn't get into midfield and that Toby and Jan were aging and the way into the Tottenham team was centre back, because it was Jose Mourinho, he went and played there. But the guy is not even a natural centre back. You know, you're talking about a guy that we converted for a makeshift.
Yeah, and one more thing on Eric Dyer. I can't stand up and get in camera, but you don't defend like this, you know, with your arms behind your back all the time. I get it that he's trying to protect against the handball because they've been a bit flaky with handballs. But you've got absolutely no balance or manoeuvrability with your hands behind your back. You can't do it.
Yeah, drives me mad. Anyway, look, we'll move on from Eric Dyer because we don't want to be accused of just assaulting the guy, even though we're not with him. Even though his crap performances, that's why we talk about him. If he was good, we talk about him in a different manner, and people need to understand that. But anyway, anything else Tottenham related you want to speak about, Paul?
I'm feeling good for the FA Cup.
Yeah, why do you fancy it? Tell me why.
I don't know. I just think it would be kind of nice for it would get people off Harry Kane's back a little bit. And I'm not talking about non-Spurs fans because who gives a fuck what they say, But as far as Tottenham fans going, there's still a discussion. Is he a good player? He hasn't won a cup. I mean, only Harry Kane knows whether he's happy with his career or not, And the thing I'm worried about Spurs is we're going into a little bit of a period of limbo here, which we do quite often. We've got the questions of, is Conte going to sign? Is Kane going to sign? And I just want it to be resolved sooner rather than later. If Conte wants to go, then go. And if Kane wants to go, go. I mean, I don't think...
If
Sorry?
Conte signs this contract, Paul, do you see that as like a major sort of, I don't know how you put it, like a lot of pressure, I think, would be taken off, like, the club, as well as like the future. A lot of questions could be answered too, like when it comes to this limbo period that you're talking about. It almost feels like if Conte does extend that contract, a lot of sort of kind of future questions and kind of weird, kind of anxious kind of feelings that we've had about this club could sort of get somewhat relieved by Antonio Conte. Because by Antonio Conte showing faith in the future, it almost then means we can kind of follow in with him, because it's like, well, if he thinks that we're okay for the time period, then maybe we are okay for the time period.
I think it'd be fantastic because, you're going to attract better players. Like, I mean, people, I don't know if Guardiola is pie in the sky stuff, but I think we've got damn sight more chance of getting him if Conte's signed a 2 or 3 year contract than if he might disappear at the end of the year. I mean, what top class player would really seriously consider Spurs when there is a question mark, that we have? You don't have that question mark at Liverpool or Man City, Man United, Arsenal. Their managers are there to stay until they start cocking up a bit. But we haven't got...
It's been a weird, annoying thing we've had to deal with this whole time since Conte's been here for us, Paul. Like, we've had to deal with the rumors, I feel like, since the moment he's been hired. It's been, how long is he going to stay, really, though? Like, what's his sort of end goal here? Like, what does he really see Spurs as? And if he signs that contract, that just sort of also gets relieved, as all the speculations and things.
I think that's probably, in fairness to Conte, he's probably testing out the Spurs board as well, because he's seen managers come and go at Tottenham. It's not like Tottenham, who are they? He would have seen, fucking hell, they got rid of Pochettino, Mourinho. What happened here? What was the story? And I think Conte, to his credit, may have come to the conclusion that he could get the board over where the other managers couldn't. And I think he's done that. And if he keeps doing that, then I think he will stay. And, I think we're going to have some happy times ahead. But if in January we don't get anyone, or, we get, I don't know, someone from Borussia Mönchengladbach or whatever, then why would Conte stay?
No, hitting on Mönchengladbach, kidding.
I agree. I agree.
Completely agree. Yeah.
I agree. Like, look, Conte has specific players he wants. Like, if he's going to sign on at Tottenham long enough term, you're going to have to give him, or guarantee the assurances that you're going to go after the players with everything you have in key positions: centre back, centre mid, one in the forward line, the spine of the team. You have to give them assurances. Like, I'm telling you now, Antonio Conte is not signing on the dotted line if he's not being given an assurance that centre back is not coming in here. You're talking about a guy that grew up, learning the art of defending, who knows more about defending Italians than most countries or any other country around the world. They're known for inventing defending. You think he's going to sit there and accept Eric Dyer, Ben Davies, Davison Sanchez going forward? Not a fear of it. Not a fear of it. We've got to make the improvements, but he also has to sign that contract. Like, if we want to like we want players to come here. We have to build that foundation. We have to build a philosophy, a style of play where they can also look at it and say, yeah, I can come into this team, I can hit the ground running, blah, blah, blah. Like Conte, there's a chance that as long as he's there, they can always do something out of the ordinary and go and win trophies, etc., etc. Everything hinges on this guy signing.
But yeah, I mean, look at how far we've come now. I mean, this time last year, we would probably be saying we need 7 players. We need 7, maybe 8 players to even challenge for anything. You know, we had the mouth-watering prospect of European football against Dennis Muir on the horizon, where now, I mean, seriously, I mean, even the most critical Spurs fans are probably even saying maybe 2 or 3 players. It's not 7 or 8, that's for sure. It's 2 or 3.
Yeah, someone just put 3 or 4 away. That's a good way to put it, Paul. Then, if last time we spoke 7 or 8 away, now we're 3 or 4 away.
I'd even say 1, man. You know, one away. You know,
a good away. You said a
it could be just 1 away, man. That could all, and you know, and we've got AC Milan to look forward to. Meanwhile, those other twats down the road, they've lost their striker. So
they have NS Mira to look forward to, and also the Europa League, I imagine. You're right.
You know, I mean, even when Arsenal were flying high, which I've been surprised by, you know, have they got the squad depth? I think our squad is better than theirs. And without their striker, are they going to keep winning? Maybe they will, but
Jesus is so important to them. He's so important to them. He's been the difference, Jesus. When you look back last year, they had Nketiah. This year, they've got Jesus, who, okay, he doesn't score week in, week out, but he has good, what he does well for Arsenal is his link-up play, you know, creating space and opportunities for others. Him being out would be absolutely huge for them. Plus, we don't know how Ben White's going to come back after the World Cup either. Sent home for fighting with the assistant manager of Gareth Southgate, you know, not knowing his tactics and stuff like that. You know, has he now got an ego about him? Is he going to come back and be the same player Arsenal had there? Not so sure either.
Yeah. I'm just looking forward to us getting back on the pitch, man. I do really enjoy the World Cup, but I don't know. I think I like watching Tottenham more.
Did you catch any of Motherwell? Did you catch us playing against Motherwell at all?
Yeah. I couldn't watch the game, but I heard you lot talking about it. Yeah. It was.
It was nice. It was nice.
And you know, I mean, it looks like we're going to come back with another World Cup winner, unless Morocco win, which they've got a fair chance. Alhamdulillah, you never know. Could be one of a Croatia-Morocco final. How about that? That'd be brilliant.
That'd be an absolute cracker, so it will. But look, Paul, we've still got one more guest, my man. First of all, great seeing you. Really enjoying having you back. Keep coming back to speak to us, my man.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. Pick up Paul.
Come on, you Spurs. Pick up Paul. Oh, Jack, that was great. That was great. I love Paulie. Do you know what? He talks really good sense, but he also makes me laugh as well. Absolutely love Paul. Great to see the guy back.
He makes your cheeks hurt. He makes your cheeks hurt with a lot of the things he says. But I also just felt like we needed to have a good catch up with a guy like that. It's good to have sort of these. Paul's not a new voice at all, but sort of somebody that we haven't heard from in a while and get that sort of new perspective on things. Also get to hear things that maybe we didn't expect to hear, sort of kind of stuff. And that's what I like hearing. So anybody else maybe like Paul, who hasn't been on the fan show in a while, feel free to come on for the next one. And, if you feel like there's something that, it's been on your mind, like Paul has had. Paul got to have his Eric Dyer therapy. Definitely pick up Paul.
Yeah. We all need it. I absolutely really enjoyed having him. Great speaking to him. But look, we are going on to the last guest of the evening. Don't even care if anybody else sneaks in the background now. It's the last guest of the evening. We're ending off Ellie. Let's get her on. Let's hear what she has to say.
Yes, come on. America. The closer. The closeratos. The
closeratos. How are you keeping, Ellie?
I'm all right. I've got a bit sore eyes. So if you don't want to be scared, lads, I put my Elvis glasses on. You know what I mean? I like putting my Elvis glasses on. I say, Ellie's left the building. No, she hasn't.
Look, Ellie, where do you want to take this? Where do you want to kick it off?
I want to take it to the point where I want to see Spurs back at White Hart Lane. I like area 252. There's bloody nutters in there. I thought I was a nutter until I went into that area. And I just want to get back to cheering on Harry Kane and bigging him up because he's had a big rap on Twitter. Everybody's giving it large to Harry Kane. How dare they? How dare they? Just because he hasn't won the trophy doesn't mean he isn't a great player, right? And I just love him because you can see how much it mattered to him. You know, there's some players, they'll miss the penalty and then they won't give two hoots. They'll just pick up their wages, whatever it is, for club or country, and they just don't care. But he does, he cares about everything that he does. And when he plays football, he plays it with a passion. He plays it the way you should play it. You know, he's a number 10 and a number 9 all in one.
Yeah.
You know, you can't get better than Harry Kane. So come on, Spurs fans, get behind him because he really needs us now. You know, and if we're going to beat the Arsenal down the road, those South Londoners who are trespassing on North London, get out of town. You know, they're 11 points clear of us, lads, with a game in hand. So we've got a lot to do.
Got
But
work to do.
now we've got Eric Dyer, so we don't know, do we, lads? We don't know. If
Ellie,
you got Eric,
you go to the games, Ellie, and
I
you were
do.
probably maybe. I feel like you can test maybe the vibe,
Take
or
off
you might
these
be able. You
glasses.
know the pulse. No more no more Elvis, Ellie.
I love
But
Paul. He's
I feel
brilliant.
like you know the pulse of the Spurs fans
I
better,
liked
right?
his threesome. I liked
Do you,
his threesome comment. It made me
Yeah.
laugh.
do you think, Ellie, like, will we show Harry Kane, you know, that sort of respect and give him that sort of,
Yes.
let's say, that adoration that, remember when Saka was applauded by Spurs fans? Spurs fans, I
Yeah.
thought, definitely showed some class that maybe other fan bases probably wouldn't have, maybe other
Yeah.
clubs probably wouldn't have. Spurs fans showed some class, I think, on that day. Do you think they
Yeah.
could do it again with Harry Kane? Do you see maybe there being some big sort of, I don't know, moment maybe where Spurs fans, you know, show
Yeah.
Harry Kane that they have his back?
Yeah, I think so. There's
It needs
more
to happen.
fans. There's more fans that have Harry's back than that don't. The ones who jump on the bandwagon and really slag him off, I don't have time for them because they do it with Højbjerg as well. So I'm used to defending my men. I have to defend you two, and I defend Dermot, and I defend Harry Kane, but I won't defend Dyer. No. Elias. Boo!
You can't defend someone you can't defend someone who can't defend. To be honest with you,
No.
you just can't do it. You just can't do it. But Ellie, where do you stand on this contract situation? There's a
With
bit of a
Conte.
stand. Yeah,
I've got to
contract.
put my glasses back on because my eyes watering. Yeah, Conte, right? He's the Italian mafia, isn't he? He's going to get what he can out of Levy before he slings his hook. Because eventually he'll want to leave, but he's got a mission, the man, sorry. I called him a boy. That's disrespectful. Right, no, he's got a mission, right? Because he really does love it at Spurs. I don't know if you caught that interview, sorry, use the proper English, when he was saying that he feels part of the family. He's got a good rapport with Levy. Obviously, he can't squeeze blood out of a stone because Levy's one of these men. He wants to protect the club's coffers as well. So he's not going to go over the top like Man City and Man United and Newcastle. He's not going to do it. Leopard don't change his spots. But the main thing is, Levy's got a heart for the club because he wants to build us up, right? He wants to get us to that level where we can compete financially because at the moment we're lagging a bit. But having said that, I just feel Harry Kane, all the ones that you can rely on. Harry Kane, you can rely on Højbjerg, you can rely on Bentancur, Kulusevski. There's not enough in the team that we can put our hat on and say we're going to, win that league title because we're far from it. Where even
Certainly not in the defense. I don't think we have enough people that we can put our head on. And like you said, no.
I think our defence is about 5th best or 6th best, I think, in terms of how many goals we've conceded. But when you look at it, you think they're the worst best. If it wasn't for Romero...
Well, we can't be 5th or 6th best and expect to, I think, finish where we want to finish.
What
we need to be first best in that department.
You're right.
We're talking about goals conceded, but we won't talk about some of the blocks on the line that have been made this season, some of the saves that you guys pulled off at times this season as well. So that stat is actually not a fair reflection on our back line whatsoever.
I know.
It's worse.
Yeah, my nose is running more than Eric Dyer runs. Do you know what? I'll give him a rap. I do give him a rap, and I feel sorry for Bobby Kay's son, Jay, because he loves the boy. And I've actually got him an Eric Dyer shirt ready. So if he's watching, he didn't hear that. Right? Right. Yeah, but I just feel we're lacking in defence. You need a solid base. Like Paul just said, if you get that one player who makes the difference, like Liverpool did with Van Dijk. He changed the whole defensive line because he's an organizer as well. He's not just a fantastic defender. He talks, he communicates, he's commanding, and he commands respect. And the other players step up as well because they see how good he is and they increase their level. When we lost Jan and Toby, we still didn't win anything with them, but we were a damn lot better to look at. I wasn't panicking every time the ball. They could pass the ball. Yeah.
They still got us actually pass the ball. Got us close in the leagues.
Yeah, they did.
They could.
We got to the Champions League final with them, with Trippier as well.
They could use the ball, they could play.
I know.
They could do both sides of the game, which is required of modern day defenders. Now we're sitting here trying to see what's better, a pile of shit or a pile of stones. It's fucking ridiculous.
True. Do you know what? If we'd signed Højbjerg a couple of years earlier and we had Wanyama fit, I thought we could have mounted a fantastic challenge against that Liverpool side because Liverpool weren't that good in that final. They just got a bit lucky with that handball. And it was such a crying shame because none of our players stepped up in that game. And then he played Harry Winks. Then you're on to a loser. You know what I mean? Is he back at our club? Is he back at our club, boys?
I think he's opted to go for the surgery, Ellie. Which means he probably might have his loan move canceled with Sampdoria. Then Paratici finds himself having to deal with the guy again, and you already feel like Paratici, Ellie. He's already got enough on his plate this January. He's already got enough to deal with. He doesn't need to have to deal with that situation all over again.
David's getting tired. Look, I'll have to get the American flag out for you, Jack, again. I've got this. I always save it for you. When you come over, I'll give it to you with a proper. You can wave it. Come on, America. I love the way America played. But you know what? I was impressed in the World Cup. Just take it another level. I was really impressed with Morocco. Morocco are fantastic. And that Amrabat, I didn't even know he was that good. I watched him on YouTube like everybody else. I haven't watched him live. I've just watched him on YouTube. He's been so impressive, boys.
Yeah, it's been. What do you feel like, Ellie, though? Do you think we already have... I think he has been good for them, but do you think we're almost like it's almost like we have enough sort of players like him maybe in the squad at the moment. So is he maybe unfortunate where we probably would have got him last season, but because we got Bentancur and then Basuma, maybe we've kind of just missed the boat on.
And then we got Højbjerg, who's similar.
And we got
Do you know what, though?
Maybe we don't even need Amrabat.
I don't know, because I think he's got something more. What I saw in him, right, because I was comparing him with Højbjerg rather than Basuma and Bentancur, right, and he's just as good, but there's that extra bit in him that even Højbjerg hasn't got, There's a determination to win that ball and drive forward with it, and he's a battler. He's a definite winner. I hope. Do you know what? I want Argentina to win the World Cup because I love Romero. I think he was saving himself for Argentina all those last 3 or 4 weeks, which is a bit disappointing for us. But obviously, he loves his country like most lads should. Like you, Guy, you love America, you love Ireland, I love England, and I love Cyprus as well because my parents are from there. But I think Amrabat, he would add something, that's solid still with. You imagine him and Højbjerg and Basuma just behind him, and then Bentancur playing that forward link role with Kulusevski.
Yeah.
We could still do things, and then maybe we won't rely on these crappy wing backs that we've got.
I agree, Elliot. I think I'm with you and Paul, where maybe Paul just said just one, even if possible, if you signed one brilliant center back, that might be all that we really need for the rest of the
But
season.
who would you suggest? Because I'm thinking Garvadal, the young boy. Is it
That's what
Garvadal?
Paul was thinking
Yeah,
too.
I like him.
He would save
I
our
do
season.
like him because he's fit. He can run back. He can track back. He's a fighter. He's got the brain of a 29-year-old in terms of. Yeah, he's been immense, and his physicality as well. I like him a lot. But other than that, I think just lay off Kane. Get off his back, man. Get off
We need
his
you.
back.
We need you leading the crowds, then, Ellie,
Yeah.
and honoring Kane. And I know they're going to probably come up with some sort of maybe moment or minute to clap him or support him or something. But we want you there, Ellie, supporting him. We want you there, leading the crowds in the support of the defense of our men, especially in David's absence, because Dave had to pull out the sword and shield to fight off all the Kane haters yesterday. I'm sure you have to do that on the regular as well. But Ellie, tell us about THFC Till I Die. Anything
THFC Till I Die. Right. So basically, we're trying to move the channel forward even more with lots of new ideas. We've already started The King, the Queen, and the Godfather. We're doing our news beat 3 days a week. I've got my ladies show, which I couldn't do today because I was late getting back because of the snow. You know what? When it snows in England, the whole country goes on meltdown. It's ridiculous. In America, you don't stop for nothing. You could have 10 tons of snow and you'll wade through it. In England, even the cab driver wanted to charge me 60 quid for a £25 journey. That's how bad it was, and I wasn't having it. So obviously I didn't order that. I mean, I'm not stupid. Right. But I just can't wait to get back to White Hart Lane, meet up with Alex box office. I had a chat with him this week. I love Alex. You know what? That boy, right? He's away from the streams, right? He puts on this persona in the streams, but away from the persona, he's the nicest guy you'll ever meet. He always chaperones me home because he takes care of me.
I remember that.
Yeah, and we go for cake
together,
as well.
I remember that.
Yeah, we do go for cake. We've been a couple of times, but we go to Chick King, which is Chick King is the most famous shop in White Hart Lane. That shop and
nice food in there. Very nice.
It is nice.
I could use that right now, Ellie. I could use that right now. Maybe you could pick up.
I like Chinese food myself. I do like chicken and chips, but I like the Chinese shop just a bit further because they do all that you can eat for 7 quid. It's fantastic. Yeah,
making us hungry now, Ellie. Making us hungry now. So THFC Till I Die. We got the link in there. Any show
THFC Till I Die.
Any show coming up?
Yeah. Philip and Dermot are going to do their own shows as well. Myself and Mia are going to do our own ladies show. Plus, we're going to do the Newsbeat show together. The ladies show, right? I really got good ideas because now I'm Spurs ladies ambassador, and I represent her game too. They also want me to represent Reading. So I've been winding up my husband Theo because I call Reading the real super hoopser because QPR, they're the super hoops, but there's There's nothing super about them at the moment. They just got battered by Burnley 3-0. So my husband's a little bit in
Theo's not in a
meltdown.
good place then.
I'm
he's
staying
not in a
away
good
from
place.
him. I'm staying away. You know, when you lose 3-0, it's not good. It's not a good sign, is it?
No.
You know.
Well, Ellie, THFC till I die. Dermot here says Elvis has left the Spurs. He's left the building. Our very
I really
own
wanted
Ellie
to make
Elvis.
my show though. I really wanted to make it back to my show because even though my eyes are sore, I've still got the voice. It's a bit hoarse, but who cares? The people want to.
Ellie, and we had a good conversation. We still had a good conversation. You pushed through.
We did.
And you were Ellie Closeratus for us. Thank you very much, Ellie. Thanks for being Ellie Closeratus.
And big up all the other channels that I like. I love your one and the Free Spurs boys. I'm going to be joining the Couve and the Kang very soon. I'm not going to be joining them permanently, just on and off. But I like that show because it's fun. And I'm going to try and do a few things with the kids as well because they're kids. And they're very good kids. I love those kids. Did you catch our show with Mickey Hazard? That was brilliant.
Oh, yeah, I caught that. Yeah, that was brilliant.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I love Mickey Hazard. We're going to try and get a few other players on as well. Me and Dermot are working on that. So hopefully they'll come on maybe next year or even this year. You never know. All right, lads. Thank you very much for having me on.
Thank you for your patience. Thank you for coming on.
We'll see you at the West Ham game, innit?
We'll see you for the Milan game. We'll see you for the West Ham game. Ellie, thanks for closing.
Are you actually coming for the Milan game as well, Jack?
I'll be there for the Milan game, Ellie.
Brilliant. Come on,
I'll be there for all week. I won't miss you at all. I won't miss you at all. You probably want to get rid of me by the end of the week. You'll probably want to get rid of me.
No way. Jack,
okay, Ellie.
You know what? I'll have to get you a curry.
We'll be getting plenty of curries,
and
Ellie.
You can come to my house for dinner as well.
Plenty. All right.
Okay. Take care.
See you soon.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye, Ellie.
Bye-bye.
Right. There you are, guys. Last plug for the THFC till I die. Honestly, I think Dermot has the whole YouTube community. It's about 4 times we plugged it today. So it has. But look, we're going to end off there, guys.
Jason Bell, I'm not sure if we got to this, but really do appreciate it. And he just said, well said, Michael. Michael's been on the podcast. We know this guy has brilliant things to say. He goes down really good conversations, really good topics. And so I might have missed that maybe while I was gone for a second there, Jason. Really sorry, Dave. Sorry. So my bad. THFC till I die. He's one of our own. Ozzy Paul. He's one of our own. Paul was absolutely brilliant. It was good to have a return with him as well, Dermot. I think we'll leave it there, everybody. Thank you all for tuning in to this fan show. We'll try our best, I think, to get something maybe lined up for Friday if there is some news and if there is something about for Friday. We will definitely have another one Monday, that's for sure. I'm looking forward to just having Spurs back in general. Please do look at the podcast, everybody, especially everybody who has a membership. You can get involved with the podcast, have your suggestions and your ideas on it. And we're going to be looking out for, I think, some community posts on Sunday. I think they should be coming out every weekend so you can get involved with the podcast. That's what I would say to take a look out for now is take a look at the podcast, and there should be a debate show. I think we're going to try to aim for Thursday. I think it is this week as well. So look out for a debate show this Thursday. That's what I'll tell you, everybody. Thank you all for tuning in. Hit that like button on your way out. Come on, you Spurs. And in Conte we trust.
In Conte we trust.